What's good, y'all? I'm Skip.
And I'm DJ.
And we are back for a Patreon exclusive episode of Deciphered. And today we have a special guest flown in, export all the way from what you said, southeast London?
Just say South London.
From South London.
Don't get it too messed up.
Friend of the show, Cole Jackson from BYNK Media, y'all.
Yay.
9 seconds of applause.
9 seconds. First things first, how you doing?
Man, I'm great. I'm happy to be with y'all today, man.
Yeah, man.
I am a supporter of the show, the YouTube channel, everything.
Hey, this nigga being modest, man. If y'all already know, I'm sure y'all have seen because I talk about it in multiple live streams and stuff like that. Cole is one of the reasons behind all of this existing. Like, he gave me my first shot, like legitimizing me as a person in this hip hop media, whatever the fuck you want to call it, space. So that led into the podcast Off the Record, which turned into Decipher, which turned into all of this. So I gotta say it while I'm in your face, because I say it on the internet all the time. Thank you, Cole.
Thank you.
You showed me what this can turn into, and for that I'm forever appreciative.
I have to let the people know too, like when you used to do those reviews, you used to rip people a new a-hole.
Had to.
You was just like, man, this
I
is...
read one of them. He let me read one of them.
Because at first, I was using like a discontinued Microsoft, I don't even know what it was called. This shit might have been called Microsoft Next or Microsoft, whatever the fuck it was called. And I was like building,
Vista.
and I don't know. I was building like the reaction, like the Pusha T when I did, like it was on that. And I think
Yeah, it was Daytona.
Ozu was like, hey man, reach out to Cole. I'm like, who the fuck is Cole? He was like, Cole got, what's the name? So he sent me like, oh shit, like niggas doing this in Birmingham. He was like, yeah, it's like send your stuff to him or reach out to him and see what he thinks, see if you can get down with him. I was like, okay. I'm nervous as hell. I'm like, I don't know. So I reached out to him. We talk on the phone for maybe an hour. Yeah. We talking about hip hop. I'm like, I got some takes. I don't know how you gonna feel it. I think our first take has something to do with J. Cole. That's crazy.
And this killing J. Cole.
This gotta be back, what, 2016? 20, it was 2016. I was still in grad school. I've been, bro.
Killing J.
The one thing you cannot say about, the one thing you gotta say about me, I've been consistent. I never switched. But that's besides the point. Yeah. Without Cole, a lot of this shit wouldn't have been possible because that gave me, first of all, the opportunity to see that it's like that it's not just some post on Facebook. You feel what I'm saying? And then from that, it's like, okay, he got a whole business structure going. Like he got people that's working with like a whole running operation. So I'm like, okay, like where do I fit? And then I was doing that, and I was like, okay, maybe I can take this to multimedia. And then we go from that to Off the Record, and then Off the Record becomes visual, and then...
Because if I'm not mistaken, you were going to name your part of the website Off the Record, wasn't it?
Tell It to Tape.
Tell It to Tape.
It was Tell It to Tape. That was the first iteration of Tell It to Tape. That's a fact. That's a fact. But let these, because I hate when people do it at the end of the show. Let them know where they can find you, man.
If you want to find me, I have a YouTube channel. It's called BYNK Media. Check that out. I have a show called The STEM Society, which is speaking about hip hop. Typically, it's hip hop news. What's going on at the time? I actually have a little bit of a news break. You can actually get something called a daily mixtape, which is news that you get quick little 3-minute news blurb, let y'all know what's going on, stuff like that. You can find me on Instagram at ColeJackson_BYNK, or you can find me on Twitter where I mostly do all my damage, which is at ColeJackson12. I be getting my shit off on Twitter all day.
I think about getting one sometimes, man, but there's just so much debauchery over there.
Don't do it, bro.
I do it because of spaces. I like to get into spaces, and when I first started my YouTube channel, I wanted to try to get people to come on spaces because that's when people really get their shit on. And it's just like, it's a nice place to have to try to build community and stuff like that. So I would say do it, and then just as much as y'all do y'all live streams, like the Twitter spaces is even wilder because you can actually have interaction back and forth with people, and you can actually like people be getting their shit off on there.
Just make sure you temper your timeline or your algorithm so all the corn won't pop up.
Yeah, because when I had Twitter, because with and I promise y'all we gonna get into what this episode is really about. But
no, we podding.
Yeah, we podding.
when we because I had a personal Twitter, and then I didn't use it from like I probably went like 6 or 7 years without using it. So Twitter completely changed. So I was like, well, maybe I can convert that over to the off the record, what's the name? So then we didn't use it for that. And then when we started using Decipher, I was like, okay, maybe I'm gonna get on there. It's pornography everywhere. Yes, I'm just like, bro, I'm straight, bro. It's like everybody liking it, everybody sharing it, and somehow that makes it a party. I was like, bro, I don't even like. Why is my entire it's just like, it's like, okay, somebody will say something stupid. You'll get like a news tweet that's very informative.
Yeah.
From like Mark Lamont Hill or some shit.
Yeah.
And then you get some corno. It's like, come on, bro.
Yeah,
like,
bro, like y'all doing the most.
Hit the link. Join my only, bro. I'm really trying to get this this channel off the ground. I ain't got time to be subscribing to your OnlyFans.
Man, it's nasty out there right now. But I honestly, like I said before, I'm on Twitter because I have great conversations in spaces. And I like to see how Joe Budden has created a cult. Because if you get in one of his spaces,
okay,
it's cult status.
Better not say nothing bad about him. You're gonna get murked. They're gonna do. But and that's the thing. Because I was thinking at first, I was thinking about starting a Discord, and then somebody in our live chat, our group chat on the Patreon was like, "This is what it looks like." They sent me a screenshot of a Discord. I was like, "Nah."
Yeah, it's a lot.
I can't do that.
Yeah,
like,
it's a lot of work.
That looks like too much. So what we're gonna do is, and I think I've told y'all this, but we're going to, when we do live streams, we're gonna send a link and like just let people join, because some of those will probably have to be like audio only, and we'll kind of turn it into like, treat it like a Spaces, because that's basically what it is. Like, we'll just let people come in and then we'll just have discussion on the live. You feel what I'm saying? We'll do it like that, because I think at this point that would be more feasible for us than building the Spaces, because I'm Twitter is just X is just another. It's where Mad Max live at, and I'm just not willing to go. Bro. I'm just not willing to go.
That ain't a bad comparison,
bro. I maneuver the best way I can, and I get some really good stuff. Okay. I get some really good news off of there too. Even though they kind of the check mark stuff, I get it, but some of the sources that I had been following for a long time is still there, and I still get some good music takes or some good information.
So I might just need to start a brand new Twitter page, and then I could just tell y'all, hey y'all, follow us on Twitter.
There you go, and you can build a community on it. You can make your own community and build a community on it.
Okay, because I know on Instagram you can like create the private DM stuff. Fair enough.
Hate them.
Okay, y'all. So introductions out the way. DJ, how you doing? Okay. So the reason that we're doing this episode, as you can see with the title, is this is our 2024 year-end review episode. And we wanted to do this specifically for y'all on Patreon, because we know those tiers, the $7 and $14, we want to make stuff specifically for you guys. So for the people in the $2 tier, I know you can't watch this, but I wish you could. I might just leave this part as a clip to kind of entice you to watch it, but or entice you to buy it or upgrade your tier. But what are some of the things that y'all want to talk about first? I know the battle is
looming.
It's looming. It's even made its way into 2025, and it probably is going to extend into 2026. I think that's my that might be my bold prediction. I think remnants from the battle will go all the way through 2025 and maybe even exist in 2026. Like, because the way that the lawsuit is getting extended, they won't probably go to trial until, they won't have an appearance in court until late March, early April. And then the label, they got the big lawyer money, so they're going to be filing motions and stuff.
They just dropped a 140-page lawsuit.
Exactly. So they're going to do that, and then they're going to find ways to extend it. So they might not even really start having progress until September, October. So it's definitely going to go into next year. By then, Kendrick might drop another album. Drake going to fucking fall off because he's not going to be able to put out music while he's in this active lawsuit with Universal.
Yep.
So yeah, I think
he at least be taking that break that he wanted.
One way or another, but this is stressful.
I mean, I really wasn't looking for no Party Next Door Drake collab album.
I wasn't either. I wasn't. I'm not gonna.
Hot take, guys. Party Next Door is garbage.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
He is. I like it when The Weeknd does what he does.
Oh,
because he's basically.
I can't front on that.
He Dollar Tree Weeknd.
I'm straight with that yodeling, so I prefer The Weeknd. I just don't like that
yeah.
you gotta listen. You gotta take ecstasy to listen to The Weeknd.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I don't like.
I love it, and for some strange reason, I think Party Next Door couldn't escape like The Weeknd. The Weeknd was like, "I'm not finna write for you no more. Get me out of here. I'm a megastar." What are you talking about?
All right, so I'm gonna run through some of the things that happened in 2024, and just let me know when we get to something we want to stop. Because the beef is obvious. We're gonna definitely discuss that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so here's some of the other things. Diddy's allegations, raids, and arrests.
I don't even want to talk about it no more.
Young Thug's long-awaited release from prison.
Okay.
Lil Durk's arrest for alleged murder for hire. The loss of various hip-hop artists. So we got to do that one. Killer Mike gets arrested after the Grammy sweep.
That
Well, I
was
most
wild.
definitely want to talk about that.
That was wild.
Drake goes after Universal Music Group.
Like a bitch.
Jay-Z
Y'all are
accused
killing me,
of Jay-Z accused of SA with 13-year-old with Diddy. So that is still going because
They're still playing lawyer games with that right now.
Yeah.
Dr. Dre finally secures a star on Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Stupid.
Kendrick surprise drops GNX. And I
wanna
think
talk
that's
about that for
the
Like outside of politics, I don't really remember a lot of hip hop stuff that really.
yeah. And they said those were the biggest moments. So if it's anything that happened that you remember,
Future.
because Future,
drop 3 number 1.
Future dropped 3 number 1s.
the rise of Doechii, the solidification of Glorilla.
Yeah.
Can we start with Doechii real quick?
Yeah,
Go ahead. Get your shit out, P.
So, first and foremost,
Okay.
calling her a plant and saying she does slavery or doing Harriet Tubman music is nasty.
I think that's
I've never heard that. Who you see
somebody
that?
said it.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh
That
my
was-
God, that
and
is
that's
wild.
what
And
was
it's not like a take that somebody who got 2 likes said. Like Doechii is an industry plant is like a huge plot thread in the back half of 2024.
They said this woman did Harriet Tubman music, bro. Like,
Yeah.
who does that?
But I think all of that shit is stemming off of the Drake versus Kendrick. So I think we kind of got to talk about that first because that like laid the groundwork for the entire year and a lot of the stuff that's happening.
Yeah.
Because what's the first thing that like if we're gonna talk about Future, we're gonna start at the beef because we got to talk about like that,
Yeah.
and we don't trust you. So let's just go and talk about the Kendrick shit first.
Yeah, man.
We'll be as brief as
So
possible.
technically, do
We're
you
not
want,
gonna be brief.
I said it's possible.
so do you want to start at the end of 2023 then?
Nah,
With
we just
For All
gonna
the
start,
Dogs?
we're gonna
'Cause
start it like that.
You got to include it.
Well, we can
First person shooter?
We can speak
Yeah.
on it for
Red
context.
button? I
We can
mean-
speak on it for context. But yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
I mean, as far as just like a timeline of things, I don't think we get this beef if it wasn't for First Person Shooter, Red Button, and a couple other shots he was throwing on For All the Dogs. I think this was the time where Kendrick was able to truly like capitalize on like, like I'm finna catch you slipping, bro. It's time.
I got time today, cuz.
I got time. I'm finna respond to
nah.
all these sneak shots you've been throwing over the years and shit.
Kendrick was straight up, oh dog.
Yeah. I think
Who's all dog?
I think Kendrick probably felt like not on no like fear type shit. I think he was like, "Hey, bro, I got it's time. Like I have to do it now because now I feel like they playing with me. Like it was different when it was just like subs getting thrown back and forth, but now it's like, oh, y'all niggas like kind of trying to start an allegiance against me. Like when I looked up and it was the United Nations.
When him saying they was kissing and hugging on stage, I was like, wow.
Yeah, bro.
So
I think that upset him a great deal.
one of the things that people have been saying, or one of the things people was kind of insinuating was Punch and TDE was holding him back from doing it. Said people were saying like he wanted to do this earlier, and the only reason why he didn't was because of TDE. Do y'all believe that narrative or what?
I think I don't think it's 100% true, but I think it is some truth in it because the way they do things over there, they have a structure. It is certain ways how they do their rollouts and how they do things. And I don't think that they maybe thought a beef would be a part of whatever rollout they were trying to do for him.
Yeah, and possibly.
And I hate to even say that's a rollout, like Kendrick need a rollout, but
And I don't even think it was. I think Gen X was a creation of the energy that stemmed from the beef.
Yeah.
Like I told you the last time we sat down, probably for Whacked Out Mirrors. I think the only songs that could have possibly been already in the tuck was maybe Reincarnated.
Hey,
Reincarnated, maybe not even Man at the Garden, because Man at the Garden got elements from like that's a response of sorts. Luther.
that's a.
I think Luther, maybe Gloria, and Luther, Gloria, and Reincarnated.
To me, Man at the Garden is a J. Cole diss.
We said it.
Yeah, we talked about it.
He dissed both of them, but I think he dissed both of them niggas. But I think he definitely made special space for J. Cole though.
Yeah. I just think him taking for me my
go
brain
back to
is
the
like
let Nas down shit. Okay.
And then the Nas beat, the cadence, the one mic, like him taking the one mic cadence and all this other stuff, and I'm like, this is completely, to me, it was completely J. Cole diss, and that was probably what he had chilling in the tuck, waiting to like, this is for you, because I got my Drake stuff over here on the side.
Yeah,
this is just the disrespect, all that let Nas down stuff and all of that stuff.
Like
this
that
is
was
for
his
you.
616 for J. Cole. Okay.
and the way that all this stuff came out, if you want to believe that TD and Punch was holding back from doing this, I mean, I wouldn't say, I think it may be definitely plausible in terms of just look at the timing, how he did everything. Now that he's off of there, he came out the gate with the smoke. It ain't. He's definitely moving a whole lot different than what he was before.
But if you really look at it, every single album, not every single. Okay, so Good Kid, Mad City didn't have that element because that was his first album.
Right.
To Pimp a Butterfly, I don't think he was shooting at nobody before, but he shot at people after. Because if you go to Untitled Unmastered, he was shooting at Jay Electronica, and then going into Damn. By this point,
Big Sean,
he was shooting at Big Sean. He had already shot at Drake. No, he did. He was shooting at people post Good Kid.
Yeah,
because even though it wasn't a diss song, the Control was like, "Hey, I'm here for the competitive smoke," and then from that it goes into
the cipher, the BET cipher.
When Drake takes it, responds like a little bitch, So then that starts, and then he goes into King Kunta, which is a Drake diss.
Yes,
and then you go into the Damn era. Well, no, then you go into Untitled Unmastered. He's dissing Jay Electronica. Jay Electronica bags out. Then you get into like the Damn rollout, which is the hard part 4. This is Big Sean and Drake. And then he gets into Humble. He disses. That's a Big Sean diss that he turned into one of the biggest songs of his career. And then you go into, I don't think it was anything in between. No. Black Panther. Dissing Drake again. Like that's a Drake. Like he was dissing Drake on so many songs on that album.
He had been subbing.
So
for a minute.
I think I gotta disagree from he wasn't able to do it. I think let me see how I want to say this.
Subs is different from direct shots though.
But I think the ability was always there. I just think
of course the ability.
No, I'm saying if he wanted to make it a thing, it could have always been it. But his whole thing was, Drake, if you got the problem, step outside and make it known. But if we gonna just throw subs back and forth, I'm not going to jump outside and diss you, because at that point, with Drake being as big as he is, he can posture it like, look at Lil Man trying to, you feel what I'm saying? But at this point, post Mr. Morale, like he's had, at one point it was the #1 grossing rap tour of all time, which is him and Baby King. You know what I'm saying? So he's at the height of his career in a sense.
Yeah.
So if anything, he been looking Drake eye to eye for a long time, but in the eyes of the public, it's okay, this is more of a conversation now. Because us, like people who really into hip hop, it's like, bro, if anything, he's been above Drake as far as the art goes.
Yes. For
a decade. Yes. But when you start to add in the other elements, it's like, oh no, he's selling like him and Baby King when he did 100+ million on tour with really no opening act. It's just him and Baby King. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, then you do that, Then First Person Shooter come, they sub, and he like, oh, I got time. Like, I don't have an album. Y'all talking crazy. Y'all posturing like y'all really trying to push me out of my spot that I worked hard for. Yeah. So now I kind of got to come outside. And since I'm coming outside, I'm finna beat y'all ass. Because now y'all have already aggressed. At this point, that was them bombing Pearl Harbor to me.
And you wanted me to be on this shit. You reached out to actually put me on the shit first, knowing that we got some shit we got to speak about. So I really think he took offense to Red Button too, bro. Like, when you really broke that song down to me, bro, like, it just really opened my eyes up to, it put the beef in perspective a whole lot different for me.
Yeah, he was talking heavy on
like
that song,
Red Button, he was going, like, he was rapping good, but he was talking so greasy on that song, bro. Do you remember Red Button?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
I feel like Kendrick had a lot of smoke too on Family. I had to make sure I got the song title right.
Yeah.
The Family Ties song.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
That was kind of really one of the big first shots when he was saying, I ain't
smoking on your top 5 tonight.
I'm smoking on your top 5 tonight. Your girl is in my DMs. What we
number 2 DM in my bitch.
It's cool on
That's
XY.
why.
To me, that was the real first shot that I got from Kendrick, and he had Keem on there and stuff like that too. And I'm like, this. Everybody talked about it because we knew what he was alluding to when he was saying smoking on your top 5 tonight. Yeah. But like, to me, that was one of the bigger shots that he had threw out there, and he had just started he was free from his contract and everything. He was linking up him and Keem was doing the hillbilly stuff and all that. But he came out with that Family Ties and I'm trying to figure out who Keem was coming at Family Ties.
Drake was supposed to be Drake was allegedly number 2.
I mean, some people saying Baby Keem was kind of trying to call out Jid or another artist behind.
I ain't gonna lie, Jid spoke his boots, but go ahead. Jid get him the fuck out of here. Go ahead.
But Drake had some balls, bruh.
Pause.
Yeah, pause. Infinite if I got to. That Red Button.
Abri tiene cojones. What is that? How do you say it? How do you say balls? Cojones.
Yeah, he had some cojones.
Abri tiene cojones. Cojones.
And people don't talk about the Red Button song a lot.
Because I think a lot of people didn't give it the attention that people like me did.
Yeah.
Because when I heard, the first time I heard it, I was like, bro, he's dissing Kendrick. Like, a lot of people like, no, it's Kanye. I was like, okay, 2 things can be true.
Yeah.
But like this, especially these first 4 bars, that is a direct Kendrick diss. And then, of course, he starts to get into some Kanye shit, like when he's talking about pulling up and all this other shit. We're going to see who really crazy and all that other shit. But like a good portion of that song, he is directly shooting at Kendrick. And then for that to be on the Scary Hours version, directly following the original version that had First Person Shooter, it just lined up. Like, he was, at that point, he was like, okay,
I'm ready.
I got you in my sights. I'm like aiming at you, Dot. I'm shooting at you.
Yeah.
And I think Kendrick was like I said, I don't think he had an album. He didn't have anything to do necessarily. Like, he was in the process of getting himself together. So I think off of Mr. Morale, you go to therapy, you get yourself straight, and then you start to, once you start to clear out your path, because I think it was more so a Kendrick spiritual journey type thing. Like let's say, okay, you had a rough patch with whatever you got going on in life. And then you go through the process of building yourself back up again. And in that, you start to build discipline, principle, and have a linear focus on what you're trying to do and what you stand for. And I think at that point, once all of those things started to click and calcify within him, he was like, okay, at this point forward, I'm fighting for and standing firmly on what I believe is right. And then when that goes into his job and like being hip hop, like Drake stands for the complete opposite of everything. So with Drake aggressing, it's like, okay, it's time for me to stand on what I believe in, and you're gonna die as a result.
And he did it all, and he started off with a slap with Like That.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's crazy too. He started with a slap and ended with a slap.
I think he wanted to have a slap off with Drake. Real talk. I think the Like That was like, okay, this is gonna get people's attention. I'm gonna say what I need to say, but I know this song gonna be a slap. So after Euphoria, and then he dropped 616. I think everything after that was gonna be a slap. I think he probably had Not Like Us. I think he had TV Off. I think he probably had Hey Now and Squabble Up. All of those were in the works. I think he was ready to go hit for hit with Drake until Drake decided, hey,
I'm gonna make it personal.
Yeah.
All I remember is listening to that Future and getting to that Like That, and then that verse coming on. And I said, because, they did the typical not showing the feature shit. And I was just like, who gonna show up on this album?
I don't understand why they do that, bro. That shit is annoying.
Because it makes people listen to the album in sequential order. I don't know who started doing, but Travis Scott popularized it in this era. Okay. Because it's like, okay, you're not going, because some people, like, let's say song 1, 2, and 3 are just that person, but it's an exciting feature on track 4.
Yeah.
It's fucking up the streaming game when you do that. But if you buy the album, like back in the day, it didn't matter. Because if you bought the album, you've already paid, like you already did your 1,500 streams. But if I need you to do 1,500 streams to get to an album sale, I need you to play from song 1 to song 29, or however many songs on these bloated ass albums these days.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a streaming thing.
But I hate it though because, well, I'm not gonna say I hate it, but like when that album dropped, I still only heard Like That in the Kendrick verse first before everything, because that's what everybody was talking about.
But that album was so
like
good.
So I went directly to that before I heard anything else on the album.
I hated it too, because I'm still one of them dudes that stay up and listen at midnight, because I love music, bruh, and it still makes me feel like a kid again. Like,
you love that.
But I stayed up and I was like, I gotta hear this Future, because him and Metro, and I was just like, I know when I heard the verse, I was like, I said, that's Kendrick on a Future. Kendrick got on a Future.
And niggas was talking out there.
Kendrick got on a Future album, bro.
It's not his first time though.
But
because he was on the Mask Off remix.
But that was
he wasn't on
that.
That
was
Kings
a remix.
Did he? But he's saying like a actual Future album.
Yeah. Like that don't feel
right.
I get what you're saying.
I'm like, and he was on a slap.
Yeah,
it's just
it was unexpected for sure. It was definitely unexpected. But then, like in hindsight, I was like, damn, they did not a lot. They've done a few songs together.
Yeah, they have.
Cause they had done
King's Dead,
King's Dead, Mask Off remix. Yeah. I think Like That was the third song, but I was like, damn, they've done songs together before.
But this was different.
Yep, absolutely different. Shook the whole culture
and said names.
Culture still shaking.
I had been asking for people to start putting names on the bullet, because it was just too many times people were subbing. I was tired of subs, bro. I'm like, y'all need to start naming names. Y'all been going back and forth for going on
like, stop
15 years, bro. Let's get it, and they got at it.
Yeah,
they got at it. How do y'all feel? How do y'all feel about Drake trying to hit his way through it? When I say hit, like instead of him actually making some diss tracks, like he really didn't get to a diss tracks until like Family Matters.
Okay.
And not even probably the AI song, but I don't really count that because that just.
What you talking about, Hi Whitney or Hey Whitney?
No, when he did the AI
push-ups.
Yeah, not push-ups.
No, he talking about the Taylor.
Oh, Taylor Made. Okay.
Taylor Made. Yeah.
Dang, it's just so much AI around Drake. Okay, go ahead.
But it felt like he was really trying to do a hit or trying to make hits to go back at him. It's like, I'm just going to outstream you instead of actually battle you, until it got real and he was just like,
but you know what?
He ain't playing.
That's how he won all of his battles. Like, because...
Who won all his...
That's how he won the battle he was in. Yeah.
Let's just say me.
That's how he participated in his battles. Okay, so Stay Scheming wasn't really a diss track. And Common really wasn't big enough for that to really, that was more of a disagreement. It wasn't really a battle, so we don't count that. The first one was actually against Meek Mill. And I feel like that was bad for Drake because he didn't learn how to battle in that battle. Mm-hmm. Because his opponent never showed up.
Drake was after Push, right?
Who?
I mean, not Drake. Meek was after Push.
Meek was before Push.
Push, okay.
So it was Common.
Because I keep going back to Duppy freestyle, and I'm like, that was actually a really
It was Common, then Meek, then Push, then this guy. the Predator. So back to the Meek Mill diss, I feel like that was bad for him because he dropped Charged Up, which was low-key weak.
Yeah.
And then he came back with Back to Back, and after that, it was nothing.
No, he had dropped Summer 16.
Yeah, Summer 16. I'm looking for revenge.
That was a
Summer
diss song?
16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a diss to Meek and Tory.
Yeah.
Ill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Formally?
Yeah.
I've never known that to be a diss song.
The second half was all about Tory Lanez. All you new Toronto, yeah.
I talked about when we did the beef in retrospect.
I'm just saying. I just never. I knew he was addressing something. I just didn't know it was considered a diss track.
Tory had been dissing Drake for
I know,
yeah.
but I'm just saying, like, you know how.
Well,
like,
it wasn't officially named,
and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was, but we just know if you just listen to it.
Like he was on there shooting.
Yeah, he
But
was.
I'm talking about like
hard.
an actual diss song.
No. Because by that point in time, Back to Back was over at that point.
And that's what I'm saying. So
nobody really acknowledged anything that Meek did after that
because it was trash.
Yeah, so it was just over. But Summer 16, because he was shooting at Meek all on More Life, several songs on More Life, and then after More Life dropped, he dropped Summer 16, and then Views came out.
Hold on, whoa.
No.
Yeah.
If you're reading this,
Yeah,
he had to be shooting at him on. If you're reading this, because More Life is like 2017.
Yeah, that's
like
later.
I mean, but he was still shooting.
That's
on that
20. More Life is right before Scorpion, so that was like
So I'm saying,
2017.
I feel like we getting the timeline mixed up. But let's go back to the Meek Mill real quick. So with the Meek Mill, and then I promise all of this is gonna make sense, y'all. All this is gonna make
We
sense.
just connected dots.
It gotta be. We gotta see it.
So he drops Charged Up, and then he drops Back to Back, and from that point, the battle is over. So he low key won because he was the only one on the court. Like Back to Back was a smash. We know that. He was nominated for a Grammy. He performed it in the LVO Fest and all type of shit. So he goes into. We kind of got to talk about the Joe Budden beef too, because that's a part of him not really learning how to battle. So
he's got a history. Bro.
So he goes back and forth with Joe Budden, but not really.
Yeah.
He never really gave Joe Budden a real response. So Joe Budden dropped 6 songs?
Yeah.
He dropped basically an EP.
Yeah.
Eviscerating Drake. But Drake never had to respond. All he did was respond in the French Montana song?
And the 4 p.m. in Calabasas.
Yeah. I thought that was the Diddy dish.
He did Joe Budden and Diddy in that.
And that's what I'm saying. Like he's never he's not directly he never in all of his battles, he does not have a series of songs directly going at one person.
Yeah, he doesn't sit down and craft songs directly at one. He hasn't shown the ability to do that.
And that's why it's hard for me to consider those diss songs, because it's like, okay, you shooting, but if you just shooting everywhere, like, what are the chances that you're going to actually eliminate your intended target?
Because he doesn't really truthfully have anything to say to these people.
It's like, that just goes to my point. Like, he just never had a battle where he had to actually battle. So you do the Meek Mill thing. Joe Budden battles the ether.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then whatever the case happens, he goes up against Pusha. And I think by this point in time, he doesn't know the rules of engagement. He doesn't know what not to do,
right?
Which led him to bringing the man wife up, which led to a story of Adidine and him getting cleaned off the face of the map. But he was able to come back because he was such a large artist that he was able to PR his way around it.
Right.
And then he gets into the Kendrick Lamar beef, where they're both of that stature. They're the two biggest names in hip hop. Mm-hmm. You know, and everybody is here for it because the expectation is now we're about to have a battle that's been 15 or so years in the making. Well, let's say 10 to 12 years in the making. And 2 songs in, with the advent of the internet, we already can tell that this is going to be the biggest rap battle in hip hop history.
Yep.
Right? And Drake is still not properly conditioned with how to battle.
Because he's shooting at too many people on every song that he do, bro.
Yeah.
And that's to answer your question when you say, why did he try to hit his way around it? Because I don't think he ever learned how to just, okay, me and you or trading.
I'm dissecting you.
Like he said,
for somebody who studied battle rap.
Yeah, I studied battle rap for a living.
Like, come on, bro. You've
Like-
been to plenty of smack events.
He hosted
King of
one.
the Dots.
Multiple.
Like-
Not even just one, multiple.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So how do you see two people on stage having a back and forth, and then in this battle with the opponent being who the opponent is, feel like you need to address the entire periphery?
Arrogance.
That's what I'm saying. Arrogance and ignorance. And because I think him not knowing that Kendrick was supposed to be the person that he's going back and forth and that he needs to
Focus.
dedicate all of his time to, I don't simply think that was arrogance. I think it was ignorance too. I think he thought, if I could make it seem like I'm going against all of these people,
20v1.
I win by default. And that's why he structured Family Matters how he did.
But if you take that first, to me, I like Family Matters minus the first verse on there.
Trash.
But that from that second, when that first beat switch happened and them verses on,
Yeah.
he was going, bro.
Y'all
I don't
joke,
care
but-
what nobody says.
No, he was rapping.
Nah, that
he
song
was
is fire.
rapping.
He just wanted to know.
Kendrick played his hand so well in strategy. Like Family Matters drop, and then he was just like, "Oh, for real? Here,
He saw that.
I've got something for
Yeah,
that.
because you know what? Because
Meet the Grams, brother.
yeah, because Drake thought he was finna win. Because look at it like, you know how to play spades, don't you?
Yeah,
You know how to play spades?
I couldn't grow up in my household and not know how to play. They would kick me out the family, brother.
Okay. So what's the, like a big rule in spades and bidwigs and shit like that is like, before you play, you need to know what was already played. So you can kind of have an idea of how this hand can go.
Watch the board.
Drake picked up the ace of spades and slammed it on the table.
Not knowing
Never
that.
once thought if any of the jokers had been played.
Yep.
He don't know if we playing Joker, deuce or
Right.
nothing. He throw the ace of spades on the table, and then Kendrick was like,
The fuck?
"That's all you got." Because I think Kendrick was like, "Damn."
I got Joker, Deuce, Ace, King, Queen.
I mean, he
Like,
hit-
the fuck?
Like
what you
okay,
mean?
so okay, I might not be able to use this king and queen right now. I'm gonna put them to the side. I know I'm gonna eventually be able to play them once I clear all the spades out.
Yeah.
But for right now, Lil Joker, bam, meet the Grams.
That's it.
And he was like, okay, shit. Big Joker, bam, not like us. And from that point forward, he knows that Drake has no more spades in his hand.
Right.
And
Oh, he
then
did.
Drake
He had a
throws
hard-
out an ace of diamonds with the hard
Yeah,
par six.
hard par six.
It's the biggest thing he could do at the time, but it's insignificant.
Right.
Like, cause at this point, Kendrick can play off for the rest of the match, and he's still gonna win.
Yeah, I got all the books already.
I got all the books. We got the 3 already.
Ready.
Anything else is gonna turn into a
kitty,
kitty.
bro.
Like
Right.
it's over with.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So I just think he didn't understand how to properly play his hand. So he do that. The ace of spades being, I'm gonna address everybody.
Yeah.
Kendrick say, I'm gonna drop a 6-minute song to you.
On you. I'm gonna dissect your family. I'm gonna talk to your mother, your father, your son, your unknown daughter that's out there.
Yeah.
I'm believing all lies. I'm believing all the lies.
Because
And
to this day, we still don't know if it's false.
Right.
We don't know if it's true.
But we don't
We
know
don't
if it's
know
false
false.
either. We don't know.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
but
Open-ended accusations.
I hate the fact that people didn't really give 616. I mean, I know it can't really be on streaming because of being able to, but that was like nobody ever talks about 616 enough.
It's
Yeah.
so important.
And it's one of the most important songs out of that whole beef to me. I don't know how everybody else
No,
feels.
That's
I-
probably
we-
my favorite song from the entire exchange.
Yeah, we
It
talked
was
about it.
just
We definitely talked about it.
the beat, the sample, the images, all of that stuff was so important, and it was so. And he was like, "I'm gonna take your timestamp and do it better than you."
Because
Oh,
for
come
me, that
on.
was the turning point because it introduced a spiritual implication in all of this, and that goes
Yeah.
back to what I was saying initially. Like, bruh stopped the song and prayed to God and was like, God, like, forgive me if I do this, but who am I if I don't do it? And even if it exposes lesser parts of me, I will grow in the process. Like, from that moment, I was like, oh, this nigga is different. Like, this isn't To Pimp a Butterfly Kendrick. Like, he's a different person.
Right.
And that's why I feel like to crystallize the point I was making earlier. I feel like he's a different individual now.
Yeah.
Like I feel like this. Like he's the most sure of himself that he's probably been in his entire career. Because sometimes you can just be, like you can be sure in what you're doing is working, but you can also be, and this is the point I feel like he's at now. I feel like he's sure of himself, and it's working.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like he knows what he wants to do, who he wants to be, how he wants to do it, and how he wants to show and present himself, and that authenticity is what is propelling him, and that's what won him the battle as well. Like he was able to look at Drake and break him down to a molecular level because he had already done it to himself. He had already went through all of these things, so he's able to look at him and be like, okay, boom. He opened the hood and was like, yep, your alternator fucked up. You need a new timing belt.
You pop pills, you gamble.
All of this shit.
You have these fake problems with your family.
Destroyed him, bro. He destroyed him. And it was like, and the craziest thing to me, I'm pretty sure you seen this, Cole, because you on Twitter. Because I got on threads like on and off, but I was just like, I just hate like that many thoughts. But a lot of people were saying, particularly Drake fans, Kendrick didn't say nothing we didn't already know. So you knew he had a gambling problem. You knew he was a womanizer. You knew he was a groomer. What I can't remember the specific
There's
term.
so many things.
Like y'all, you knew all of these things.
So many things.
And you still are like head over heels in love with this man, consuming his music. So that just goes to show like that Drake had no self-awareness. So when it hit like a ton of bricks. Because I don't care what he say. He's affected by Meet the Grams.
Absolutely.
I think Meet the Grams like broke him, but he could get up and continue to walk if his career wasn't affected.
Yeah.
Like he could like continue to put on the facade, but not like us broke the Drake that we know because Drake is vain.
Yeah.
But I think the heart and soul of Arbor Drake Graham hurts.
That's why
from them keys from Meet the Grams.
But you have to think too. I think the thing with Kendrick hurt him a lot, but I also think the people that he had collabed with throughout the years that turned their back on him hurt him a lot too. Like, it really does feel like Drake thought these people were like his homies or something, and it's like no, because like they don't mess with you like that for real. This industry friend stuff that you continuously in your mind are like, oh, this is my homeboy. It's like no, bro, like I need a slap. Really quick.
And also, I feel like, we talked about this on the previous episode of Section 205, but I think being that Drake is an only child, right?
I'm on the child too now.
I haven't seen you display this behavior, but only children don't know how to share. They don't have that strong foundation of building sibling relationships to understand what real relationships are. So to your point, I think he's not able to perceive what a real friendship is, but I also think he's not able to be a real friend because the same people that he's upset with for quote unquote turning their back on them, a lot of them he did shiesty fucked up shit too.
For sure.
So I think now, however it happened, a lot of people were just like, you know what? Fuck Drake. Let's I don't have to openly not fuck with you. Yeah. Or like transgress against you, but I can just stop fucking with you. Right. Or just let whatever happen be that, and I'm just here. I'm no longer on a side. I'm where I'm at.
It's very telling that Wayne didn't step into any of this.
Yeah.
I said that.
That says
he been trying to run from Wayne for a decade.
That tells me everything that I need. When Wayne didn't come in and do nothing, I'm like, bro, don't nobody ride with you no more. Yeah. Cause that's his guy.
Nicki didn't say shit. Birdman didn't say shit. Nobody. They didn't speak up until the Super Bowl shit happened.
And it was and it's crazy that Kendrick no longer is with TDE, and Top was a voice through the entire thing. Yep.
But you know what? I'm glad that happened because everybody was talking about how Kendrick and TDE had this bad breakup and this bad split, and he
Drake
left
too.
And I'm like, that's family, bro. Like, TDE is family, man. Like, it ain't nothing. I don't see where you would get that from. And then when people was talking greasy like that, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like when I listened to Heart Part 6 on GNX. It's his evolution. It's the natural step to go to PG Lane. Like he's that's my favorite song on GNX, bro, because he basically tells his story of how he evolved, especially in his music thing, and finally get into like, you finally got to the point where now you top. He's basically top.
And that's what I was about to say. Like, how could Top be mad at Kendrick for wanting to, in essence, follow in his footsteps when he built him under that blueprint? Like, hey, we are a small, independent label that I am building because I have faith in you individuals, you, J-Rock, Q, Soul. Like, I got faith in y'all folk, and we're going to build y'all up. And whatever happens from that point. But the entire thing started on Top being independent. So if Kendrick is watching that and then he gets to a point of maturity where he feels like he's able to venture off, how can Top ever be, if anything, even though our business relationship is going to change, bro, you slept in my crib. Like I didn't raise y'all, but I helped build y'all into the men that y'all became.
Right.
Like,
and how he addressed, cause like I love that song too, and how he was able to address it to where, like, yeah, we had a sit down conversation. Like, no, it wasn't easy. I'm pretty sure it was some type of static, some type of friction there. But since we really family and we actually was able to talk down and express ourselves in a way that our points could get across without being disrespectful, the transition was overall best in the best interest of all parties. It's something as simple as you growing up and you finally leaving your mom and dad's house and you moving out for the first time.
Right.
yeah.
Like, they don't really want you to do that, truthfully. They scared for you. They don't, but ultimately, it's time.
Right.
You know, so you can't stay under the wing for so long. It's time for you to branch out, become your own man, your own woman, form your own life, own traditions. It's time for it. So the fact that he was able to express that on that song and rewrite the narrative of the Hard Part 6 into something that actually meaningful, like that was just amazing to me. I love that. That's another, like, I feel that's another Drake shot in a sense. I'm telling you, I'm showing you how to really do this shit.
Right.
I killed your time step shit, and I'm showing you how to really do the Hard Part 6.
And I got real friends.
Real friends.
TDE backed him through that whole thing, which was like, okay, they really are close family, bro. Like, y'all can that narrative can die, and he killed that narrative with all of that stuff. And I think the fact that he's like, I'm gonna build PG Lane off of your grave, brother. I'm gonna just build it on your grave. We've stomped you out. I'm good. I'm gonna do this Super Bowl really quick. I'm gonna win a couple of these Grammys because I know they gonna.
Because he gonna win something.
He getting about two about it though.
I would say at least 2.
What, Grammys?
Yeah. He getting at least 2.
How many nominations does he have? 7?
I think he had. I'm gonna have to look it up. But he getting some Grammys about it though, regardless.
We ain't laughing at you. We're laughing at whoever is putting on that act outside. But real quick, let's not. When you get that, we'll continue. We'll just add that to it because I think the biggest thing, and we'll go into the lawsuit because that's kind of like the natural progression from this, and then from there we'll go into the legals with niggas going to jail and risking their life for things that they should be, not doing. But I think the Not Like Us being as huge as it is, having the legs to almost going diamond in a year. Well, in 6 months, like, cause by November it was 7 times platinum, at least 6. So I think it probably made its way to like 7 times platinum. So then he makes the announcement of no round 2s. I'm performing at the Super Bowl, and the irony of that, as big as the what, big as the Super Bowl, and now I'm finna perform at the Super Bowl, with the big joker in my hand. I don't know if I'm gonna play it or not, but Drake was like, you know what? Nah, we can't do that.
Yeah,
I gotta file a lawsuit. I gotta find a way to get an injunction so you cannot perform this song.
Man, I gotta go through this. I've been having this conversation all day.
and I really don't respect that in a sense because I'm just like, and I told you this before, I don't like how he's still trying to hold on to whatever hip hop card he thinks he has. Bro, just sue Kendrick directly. What are you suing the labels for?
Because he'll get a countersuit from Kendrick. Because I think at that point,
Like, you can't be hip hop and
Kendrick's,
doing this shit at the same time to me.
Facts. Kendrick's positioning on this is like how he came up. What's up?
You were right. It's 7.
7. Okay.
Yeah, you were right.
Kendrick's positioning on how he came up. Like a lot of them niggas be like, bro, we're not going to the courts over some shit like that.
Yeah.
I'm not filing no defamation lawsuit. But I think being who Kendrick is now and being the entity that he is, if Drake sues him directly for defamation, Kendrick is gonna file a countersuit. Because at that point, it's stupid not to. Like, you being brought up in, because at that point, it was gonna be a civil action.
Yeah.
So he would end up being out of a bunch of money if Drake was to win, because you know Drake gonna sue for a bunch of money. So Kendrick would be like, okay, nah, nigga, like, are you forgetting Family Matters?
Yeah.
Are you forgetting you told me to say this shit in what's the name?
Taylor, man.
Like, come on, bro. Like, how can you not forget the stuff that you directly said? Let's talk about what you did in the Heart Part 6.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you accused me of being a victim of sexual assault. Like, as a retort for me kind of, sort of, possibly calling you a PDF file. Indirectly, when you directly said that I beat on my girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that can get very messy for Drake. And at the very least, it'll end in both of those suits washing each other out, and he still looks stupid.
I mean, it's still gonna happen the same way with UMG.
But at least with UMG, he has an opportunity to win. It may be small, but I think he had a 0% chance of winning in a direct lawsuit against Kendrick Lamar.
Okay.
On top of how bad it would make him look for suing him after a rap battle. At least he can say, I'm not suing Kendrick, I'm suing the label for their part in doing it. Although, we all know that it ain't too much legs to stand on with that.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that UMG also facilitated the release and promotion of Family Matters and the Hard Part 6 and Push-Ups. Taylor Made too, I'm assuming.
No, that was unofficial.
Yeah,
that was unofficial. Okay.
No.
And I think that the reason it was unofficial because it was released as AI, because his voice isn't technically on it, or is it?
I mean, he does the last verse.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, the last
Behind
verse.
And I think
AI
it's
Snoop and AI Pop.
Yeah, and I think it's probably some like weird ass
they-
technicality to where it didn't count as a song from UMG.
Cease and desist. The Tupac estate did a cease and desist.
No, I'm saying also so he released the song completely independent of UMG. That's what I'm asking.
I don't think when Taylor Made Freestyle released, it was, they was doing the Instagram YouTube
thing,
stuff. Yeah. It came out on Instagram.
Yeah, it did.
And I don't know if UMG was able to secure the rights to be able to make it to where, just like 616 in LA, maybe they just couldn't secure the rights. And I think by that time, I'm pretty sure all the legalese stopped them because of the cease and desist from the Tupac.
Gotcha.
estate.
So it didn't get a chance for UMG to get mad and pull it down
Probably
because
not.
of the
Yeah.
cease and desist. Gotcha. Okay. So with all of that being said, a direct suit against Kendrick would be counterintuitive, and it'll make him look bad because it's like, oh, I'm telling on you directly. You beat me up, I'm telling on you. So going into the lawsuit, and we don't have to talk about it in detail as far as the parameters because it's a lot of shit to talk about. But how do we feel? And Cole, I know you have a differing opinion, and
People
I know.
hate my opinion.
So I'm gonna let you go. How do you feel about the lawsuit in itself and the implications of it in reference to Drake versus UMG?
Okay. So first and foremost, let me establish this point to everybody, because I've had this conversation earlier today with a couple people. Anti-label does not equal pro-Drake. I've been trying to tell people this the whole time from my point of view. I went through that lawsuit. First and foremost, labels are horrible. UMG has the biggest market share out of all the big three, out of Sony, out of Warner, and even the independent side of things. They have the biggest market share out of everybody.
Yeah, all the subsidiaries. Yeah,
Right.
They had the biggest ones. Yeah.
I am one of the people who was like, I'm for it. I think Drake doing this again, and I've stated this again. I have to state all the stuff beforehand. I stated this. Is it for selfish reasons? Yes. Is he doing this to kind of make himself shine himself up a little bit? Yes. He's not doing any of this to help the industry at all, even though if he can win this suit, it can help the industry and it can help independent artists, because the practices that companies like UMG do, they've silenced songs, they've pushed independent artists, they've been a part of pushing independent artists not even being seen on the first page of Spotify.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? There's practices there that need to be looked at and changed, because when you're independent, you don't get an opportunity to do those types of things.
Right.
Like, you get pushed to the side because they want to push their big playlists and their major artists. I'm looking at it from a standpoint of like him exposing a lot of the business. I'm looking at it from a standpoint of like, yeah, did UMG do a lot of stuff to help him get big and push a button to push songs? Yes. But I also feel like if I signed a $400 million deal with you and you've recouped that money before my deal is up, and you don't want to renegotiate in a way that's going to be favorable for me, I'm finna sue you. I'm gonna get paid. At the end of the day,
Let me ask you a question. Well, why isn't he suing them for unfavorable business practice? Well, like, why isn't he suing them for like malpractice or breach of contract?
Because I think that's more of where the angle of where the lawyer's trying to go. See, that's another thing that a lot of people are getting caught up in. People are thinking this is coming directly from Drake when it's really the lawyer doing his job.
Right.
Yeah, of course it's nasty that Not Like Us is in the lawsuit. But if I'm a person that's trying to sue a big corporation like UMG, and I hire a lawyer that's going up against a big time entity, I'm telling you, do whatever you need to do to win the case.
I'm pulling it
and
off.
it ain't gonna look pretty, and it's gonna look real nasty. When I read through that lawsuit and the way they was breaking down the lyrics and some of the stuff they were saying, I understand that that's a lawyer doing his job. The whole people going crazy over this anti-Semitic shit. Well, he's a lawyer. Your lawyer is supposed to do nasty things to win a case against a huge corporation.
You're right.
These people on here get so in their feelings about who Drake is when y'all ain't even shook the man's hand before. Yes, is it nasty? Yes, bruh. I know, it's hip-hop. I get it. It's hip-hop. You ain't supposed to do all this stuff. But the same big-time talking heads like Joe Budden or Charlemagne and all these dudes, I'll take Joe for example. Joe literally, when he was ending his Spotify deal, purposely made horrible episodes on his way out of that Spotify deal. He said it.
Yeah.
His renegotiation didn't go the way he wanted them to go. He got Rolexes and got pissed and gave out a bad product on purpose. So it's like people do nasty things when it comes to their bag.
Right.
I'm not mad at Drake for trying to renegotiate and get his bag because he recouped that money way before it was time to do it. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at him trying to figure out a way to get the label and shank them to get his money.
Okay. Like, everything you saying makes perfect sense when you just taking the beef aspect of it, the hip hop aspect of it, out of the equation.
Right.
If I look at it just from that perspective, it makes perfect sense. This is a lawyer just doing his job. However, with Drake being an artist and him being as big as he is, how do you completely remove that out of the equation of him being a hip hop artist? And how does he come back from this knowing that you had to go this route to basically make yourself look better?
You can't.
Can I answer the question?
Yeah.
Because I want to cut your wisdom. Keep hold of whatever you got.
No, it's all good.
I think that Drake earnestly believes if he wins this lawsuit, all will be forgiven by a large populace of the hip hop community.
And that's not a wild take.
I think he really thinks that. I think if he can have it proven on paper that Drake was, bro, I'm telling you, he gonna turn into Donald Trump. He's already on Donald Trump shit. But if he sued him and he wins, not by no weird technicality, but by them being able to prove that Universal and all of these other big music corporations were conspiring to minimize his impact and therefore his viability in the marketplace, it's gonna make Kendrick look 10 times worse to the people that they wanted to look bad to. Yeah. And it's gonna make Drake look 57 times bigger because it's gonna be like, look at what it took to take Drake out.
Yeah.
Look at all the illegal operations you had to go on to take Drake out. Look at Lil Man Kendrick, who took the opportunity to partner up with Universal to get a boost to try to knock down Drake, in addition with all of the other people that was dissing him, and he still made it out. and now the song that they use to put him down
He
has a
can't play it.
disclaimer on it, or he can't perform it.
Yeah.
Even though we know
Yeah.
that Kendrick is who he is. Damn just went diamond. Humble just went diamond. DNA is diamond. Like, he has multiple accolades. We already know. We ain't got to run it down. But the people that want Drake to be right, in the event he wins this lawsuit, he could drop an album the next day.
It's gonna
And
go
it's
crazy.
going to go crazy because they're going to celebrate the fact that he's no longer a loser.
And my whole thing is this, bro. Let me just put it to you in another way, too. That deal that Drake has, which a lot of people, and again, this is from articles that I've read. I don't have the contract in front of me, and if I did, I would. But from more articles, I read the article the day it dropped, and I was like, that deal encompasses everything from brand deals, TV production, music stuff.
They got him on
They're
1080
they're
deal.
taking a huge piece of his. That's like that $400 million is one thing, but like taking pieces of every. He's got a brand deal. He's got brand deals with Nike. He got the Max Win brand deal. He which he's gambling the stake stuff. He's got a lot of stuff that they introduced him to just so they could get a slice of what he got. So in that, when you think about it too, his ownership rights of his catalog ain't even his.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I knew that.
And
He sold
and
him.
it's
Maybe he
like,
had to give him everything. But yeah, go ahead.
if he's negotiating for just a simple fact of just saying, well, I just want I want another bag and I want more ownership of what I have, because for some strange reason, I just feel like Drake finally figured out what his value is. I think early when he signed, I'm serious.
I know, it's just so crazy to hear that. Like,
when he first
him
signed
so
that,
deep in the game.
he signed that deal
That's
back
how
in
old Joe Budden was.
2019. Well, some people say 2022. What I read was 2019 when he did this deal. Yeah. But when he first did this deal, he was the dude. He was that guy. But he didn't realize his real value when it came to being how big of a household name he was going to be.
Yeah.
I think that they tricked him. They caressed his ego to make him feel like he was going to be taken care of. They did a lot of stuff to push songs. They quieted songs for him. People don't, I mean, y'all may know that. Y'all may not know that.
yeah.
They took verses away from people. They did a lot of stuff to make him feel how he
behest,
feels
yep.
now. And so, of course, I'm going to feel a type of way if I sit down at the negotiation table. You've recouped your money. You've taken almost anything I bring in, you always get a piece of it, probably a very big piece. And now you got Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick has a short deal with you, and they're saying in that lawsuit that they were trying to prove their worth to Kendrick. So why wouldn't a major label want to have two of the biggest rappers who just got off one of the biggest beefs under their umbrella?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm gonna devalue him, re-sign him for peanuts. I'm gonna prove to Kendrick that, yo, we're valuable to you. You can use us for whatever you need as far as distro, because it's a distro deal that Kendrick has with him. Hey, distro through us. You see how Not Like Us, it was a slap, but we just took it to the moon. And I'm not saying that's what really happened, but industry.
We can say, okay, it's two parts to a slap. The actual artistic part of the slap and the administrative part of the slap. You cannot have one without the other. That's why you get a song that blows up on TikTok and the artist cease to exist when they don't have someone to properly propel them going forward. It happens. Don't get me wrong. Not Like Us and a lot of hit songs have been hit songs.
Right.
But there is a label component that we have to give acknowledgement to. Perfect example. The person we're discussing, Aubrey Drake Graham. At the release of Scorpion, his album was plastered on all of the playlists on Spotify.
It was
Even country, even like genres that he's never ever created a song for, he was the thumbnail feature artist for that genre.
Everywhere.
That component alone puts that album in places it shouldn't necessarily be, and putting them in front of places that nobody would be able to do other than a record label with an immensely large piece of the pie and unquestionable, unrivaled power in the market space. And also a contracted deal with the various streaming service that they're working these deals out for.
And nobody talks about that. UMG has, all of the major labels has stake in Spotify.
Yeah, they do.
It's there. You can read it.
I just found it out yesterday.
The problem with people and with me and my take is people really feel like I'm rooting for Drake because I'm a Drake fan. It's like, no, cuz that ain't how it works. You have to separate. Sometimes you have to separate your love for hip hop and music business.
Yeah.
What Drake is doing is the music business side of shit.
Yeah.
Yes, does it have hip hop stuff? The timing was horrible.
Yeah, that's what it is.
The timing was
it's the timing
trash.
But we're also going to talk about, before we get, because it's a good segue into the legal cases that are actually criminal, but we have to talk about the potential implications that a Drake victory could do to hip hop. And also, I think, like, when we talk about some of the journalists that we talked about in pre-production, I won't say their name.
Okay. I
won't say their name.
Yeah, I don't want to do none of y'all stuff.
I said it to say, like, if he wins, he's going to create a very dangerous precedent for hip hop. And that's the part that's bad to me beyond like the surface level. And I think a lot of the journalists understand that, but they don't necessarily say that. A lot of people that are parading to be journalists, because some of them are, and they're willing to have the conversation. But like these the people we can talk about, like Charlemagne, like Joe Budden. Like Joe Budden is not a journalist. Charlemagne is not a journalist.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like these people are not journalists, and they're not looking at it from that perspective. Joe may in private because he's shown the propensity to really understand the music business.
Yeah.
But he also
Charlemagne,
lies
not
a lot
much.
too.
That too, because he at the end of the day, he is a media platform that's built off entertainment. Those days of really getting into the weeds are long behind him. I think he feels like the engagement dips when he does that. So that's cool. That's cool. That ain't my fight to fight. So what I'm saying is, let's say he wins and that leads to a disclaimer on Not Like Us or Not Like Us being pulled just out of the marketplace completely. That song no longer exists. Imagine the power that the label will now have if they have the ability to directly censor artistic expression to the point of eliminating the song or preventing it from existing.
Well,
that's just one thing.
let me counter that with somebody that you like or somebody that I've seen you post before. Isn't that what D1 kind of wants to happen?
Yes, but at least my understanding is from the artists holding themselves accountable.
Yeah.
Let me speak like I've been somewhere before. Holding themselves accountable and really, it's that, but it's also the fans. We are the drivers of, we are the intersection of culture and, well, no, actually the label is the intersection of culture and commerce, but we are culture.
Right.
We dictate what is valuable commercially.
Facts.
So if we understand the power that we have and how we are exposed to things that aren't necessarily good in our favor psychologically, and more that leads to the commercial aspect of it and them pumping it back to us because they feel like that's what we want. If we get to the point where, okay, we finna go into an era where we want people like Tribe Called Quest, we want people like Chuck D.
Public Enemy.
We want people who are standing up for something. We want more Commons, more Talibs, and less
Sexy Reds.
I didn't want to say a woman, but that I swear to God that was the first person came.
I mean,
because of the Bruno Mars shit.
She just
but like less
I'm
finna shoot at somebody. Less Fabio Forens, less fucking just less stupid ass artists like who just are intently ignorant for the ability to sell that low vibrational music to a fan base that isn't even necessarily black a lot of the times.
Right.
So I said it to say the difference is what D1 is talking about. If you never listen to music again, you can walk away with those principles, and it's still you have the ability to choose that. But if the label does, at that point the label is fascist.
I understand.
Because now art is no longer beholden to the creator. We are now working to satisfy them for the ability to release music.
So basically,
and that would be extremely detrimental to hip hop first and foremost.
Yeah. So basically, just to Cole's point of what they were doing behind the scenes, silencing songs, hushing, like things like that, they'll just be able to do it more openly.
let me give you guys a really quick point.
Well, that was just off Drake's preference. I'm talking about.
I mean, in general, like Drake ain't the only one that had benefited from songs being silenced or not
Yeah.
pushed. And
I
things
mean-
like that.
But with the Drake thing, it wasn't because. Well, at least to my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong. It wasn't because they were saying things they shouldn't say to the fans.
Oh,
It
that was
just-
Drake using his power.
It was just Drake like, nah, minimize them so I can continue to grow.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But
Okay,
what I'm
okay.
saying with UMG is, like, let's imagine if in this current economic climate or current climate with the president and all this other shit, like we know Trump just got in office. Imagine if Lil Baby was trying to release the bigger picture now.
Oh,
They could be
hell
like, no,
no.
we're not putting that out
Yeah.
because that doesn't represent our business interests.
Right.
We don't want to do that. We want to remove all the DEI representation type shit as how it reflects in music. Or
Yeah.
if Kendrick wanted to put out, all right, no, this could potentially create protests and all of this shit, which would be against our bigger interests, aka our shareholders who are shaking hands with niggas like Trump
Yeah.
and all of these other people. Like, because they were like, okay, if you're going to do that, we already know that Meta and all of these other people aren't going to allow the song on their what's name. So it'll be disadvantageous for us to put money behind it because they're not going to support it and help it grow. Right. So we're not going to put it out, period. That song will never escape the studio. If the label has that type of power,
Yeah.
what kind of record label do we have? And that would be off of the president, possibly, potentially, probably, if Drake win his lawsuit.
But UMG, so I read there's a wonderful person. He has a podcast, and I listen to his music business podcast. Ari Hempstead had an article focusing on how the beef with UMG and TikTok affected independent artists. I don't know if y'all noticed or not, but when they broke up with TikTok, of course they took away the UMG artists from TikTok.
Yeah.
But did y'all know that independent artists who were even related to, like, let's say they were on an independent label and they did a feature on another artist's song, they quieted a lot of independent artists' music just because they had a little beef with TikTok. They have the power. They've done things like this already that people don't put in the media for everybody to like. You have to be in the know to know this stuff. So I get your point, but they've already affected a lot of people who ain't even under their umbrella. They've already been a part of making sure that people have been silenced because me and TikTok ain't getting along. So even if it was a lot of independent artists who couldn't even they were getting paid off their music on TikTok, and because of that beef that UMG and TikTok had, they silenced a ton of independent artists for no reason, just by relation, and that was it.
So,
now with that,
real quick.
Go ahead.
So besides Drake just being redeemed, right?
He said this shit like it's so improbable.
Besides him being redeemed, him winning this lawsuit and holding UMG accountable for the shady things that they do, like, what benefit does that do going forward for the label? If they already doing the things that you're mentioning already without a lawsuit or things like that, how does that change the landscape of Drake winning exactly?
That's the thing.
Because it only feels like it benefits Drake and nothing else. It doesn't do anything else for the industry.
It does benefit Drake, but it also helps other artists make them open the books up. So you know how sometimes I'm kind of getting into like the legal side of things. You know how sometimes when there's a case, y'all are crazy. When there's a case, and they always refer back to an original case, like let's say it's about
a legal precedent.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, so a lawyer has to go back to one of the original cases and say, well, this happened in such and such versus such and such, and then so now we're trying to prove it using that case. So if it's an opportunity for artists who feel like they've been quieted or silenced by that label to say, y'all need to open up the books. We need to see what kind of bots y'all been using. Who silenced what? Like, he's literally doing a dangerous thing by exposing way too much of the business.
Well, I mean, independent artists, though, they're not going to have the same cachet and power as a Drake to be able to pull that out of them to do it.
But it ain't going to be just, it's not just independent.
It might, to Cole's point, this is where the snowfall happens. What is that? Is that what they call it?
Snowball.
Yeah,
snowball
this is where the
effect.
snowball effect comes in. Imagine if Drake wins and then they open it up for a class action lawsuit. Now, I'm not defending Drake. I'm just simply answering your question because I don't think he can win.
I don't think he can win it
Because I think the things that he's alleging, number one, if he wins, is going to paint UMG at that point will have to be found liable of aiding in anti-Semitism. Like, and I know that's like you said, amongst other things, that's one thing that they would have to, and then Drake might actually be able to, after that, come back and sue them for malpractice. Like Drake could very well walk away from multiple suits against Universal and the music industry a billionaire, like $1 billion liquid.
Yeah,
like from the lawsuit, because then he could come right back and sue every streaming service that put it out. He could sue Apple. He could sue, like not just for the defamation shit, but sue them for a whole bunch of shit. Like he could go somewhere and start his own fucking record label.
Yeah, he could legitimately take that money and really do an independent type thing like Kanye's doing.
Yeah. So
okay.
The thing that you said, you asked the question. You said how does it help the industry? It only seems to help Drake. And then Cole said that it can help the independent artists.
Not just independent, but artists in general.
Yeah. They could open the books, and then the class action lawsuit would be the way that they possibly could do that. Because at that point, all they have to do is add themselves to the class action lawsuit, and if that is what's to happen, then the books will be open and made public record. It's not like everybody's going to have to go in and singularly do it. All they got to do is put their name on the class action lawsuit, and then however the accounting spreadsheets and all that other shit comes out, they come back. Because then everything would be a separate itemized audit to the label.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like when Big Sean, I don't know if he sued the label, but he did an audit on the label. He found out they owe him like $6 million or some shit. And then it was like, oh, we paid good music. Kanye got your bread.
Yeah.
So not only will they be able to see was it paid or not, they'll be able to trace it all the way to the last point that the money touched hands. Yeah. So then we'll be able to see the network. But granted, he's going to fuck up the music industry. And that's a good and bad thing. Because it's like, okay, if you fuck it up to a certain point, how does it survive and how does it rebuild and structure itself?
And nobody really is going to win if he wins.
Exactly. And then on top of that, even if the record industry finds a way to finds a way to lose with strength still, hip hop is gonna be fucked up.
Hip hop is always the first one to get,
because not only are they, and this is something else, Cole, I'm telling you, man, you got to do a fucking video, bro. And I'm not cursing at you.
No, it's all good.
I'm being emphatic.
Yeah, but, it's all good.
The importance of AI now, because if it gets to a point where they like, why would I go through the process of basically striking and removing your content and stopping you from releasing it when we can just empower AI?
Which they are.
We got one of the quote unquote greatest minds in hip hop, aka Lupe Fiasco, and one of the greatest voices in hip hop, Beanie Siegel, already actively inputting into the hive mind of AI.
And the thing is with UMG, they've already started programs with being able to use AI for small things like production, or if you need some background singing or whatever the case may be, you can go on the website and read it and see what they've implemented as far as like what they're using for AI. And it's just small little bits and pieces that artists can use to kind of help them, because they're slowly reeling it in for everybody. And again, we're talking about a label who has the biggest market share out of the big three. I think when I read that, it was from 2023, and they had, I think, at least 35% of the market right now. And
then them and whoever, is it Atlantic?
So the three is UMG,
I'm
Sony.
About who Grange's son worked.
Oh, he put his son in Atlantic.
Yeah, so I'm saying
all
and they're together basically.
Yeah.
So they have I think 66% of the total record industry under in the Grange family.
Like actual artists. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and I think income too. Like, I think they just got 65% of everything in that that connection.
Yeah, and people are not realizing that UMG is not even really owned by people who like music. These are like oil tycoons and
of course,
people in France and stuff. Like, it's a lot of moving wheels. That's why I get pissed when people try to make this a hip hop thing. Yeah. It's a business thing. Yeah. This man is actually going against a machine that ain't to be played with. Like I said in my video, when you start seeing smear campaigns, because it's going to happen.
Oh yeah, he finna get.
He's cooked.
I think whatever video that Ebony Prince sent to academics, if they got anything to do with Drake, is coming out. The thing that made him like lean back in his chair and like scoot back and all that other shit. But I was finna ask you a question.
It's just bad time.
And I completely forgot what it was. I completely forgot what it was.
I just want people to take out this pure hip hop. I get y'all stands, and I get a lot of people how they feel about it, bro. But I'm like, a lot of this rage against a person that you ain't never shook hands with or broke bread with is just a little bit much. That's all I'm saying. And it's like, if you just take away, it's hard to take away the hip hop element because of who it is, the timing of it, and all that other stuff is. Mm-hmm. But like, I just look at it, if it's me, and if I want to renegotiate and I want to get my bag, I know that it's gonna be some you gotta roll it. You roll in the mud with pigs sometime.
But you gotta get willing dirty. To burn down the house to get your pictures out?
How arrogant am I?
Drake arrogant.
And I know what I want to ask you.
And I know what I want to ask you. Mm-hmm. You said something that it came back to me. Shout out to God. He be blessing me with the downloads. He's the greatest.
For sure.
But do you think the quote unquote artists, the randoms that were popping out with AI versions of songs from Drake and Kendrick, do you think that was a part of the rollout with UMG?
I don't know. Because it felt like it was a thing.
It would be convenient.
Very much so.
Yeah.
It felt like that was like a thing all of a sudden. Like all of these leaked diss tracks and stuff like that. And it was so random. It was so many people doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. We don't really even know who's on the payroll for real.
And I think the reason that I asked that now is because during it, I remember you saying like, hey, bro, I was saying it too, but you was like, your 2024 like was crazy as fuck. Like, it's like he was 2 months ahead of everything. But he was like, but this was like in real time. He was like, bro, if y'all keep putting out these AI tracks, y'all gonna fuck up this battle. And I'm like, bro, I cannot agree more. It almost, but the thing about it is, it was. They were getting the opportunity to shine because Euphoria hadn't came out yet. Like, Kendrick hadn't done anything yet. Mm-hmm. So this was post Tailor-Made up until the release of Euphoria. Because once Euphoria came out, them hoes stopped. Mm-hmm. But the thing about it is, I think that them people who released those songs, they were contracted by UMG to release them, but they wanted credit.
Mm-hmm. I can believe that.
And that's when they started jumping out on social media. Because they had like whole little setups. Mm-hmm. Like, these weren't just rinky-dink as artists. Like, granted, their music that they had, their self sucked. Yeah. And that's why I feel like the ability to have that AI technology to be able to do what they did with it lets me know that they had a care package. Like, you're not finna tell me that your quality of shot looked like that.
Yeah.
And you doing that shit on a razor. I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
And then, razor, bro. And then your shit going super viral.
Right.
Like,
heavy.
Like, bro, like, you know how many of them were released and the difference in quality? Like, some of them hoes sound like they was like on Nintendo 64 cartridges.
Yeah.
But like the Caucasian dude who did the Drake diss, mm-hmm. Like, his shit didn't. It was on par with Push-Ups, like the AI version of Push-Ups. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the Kendrick one, that of course, dude. Like, you can't mimic Kendrick, so it's not gonna sound like Kendrick Lamar. Yeah. But it was also on par as far as the overall quality of the creation mm-hmm. with the AI version of Push-Ups.
And I mean, I know you said it almost did, it almost did ruin the beat, but mm-hmm. I think it did in terms of. Like, I'm gonna go back to something real quick that Cole said, but I'm still in the mindset of just the hip hop aspect of it and the battle aspect of it. Those AI tracks, I feel, did way more harm than good because a lot of the ammo that was said on those songs and how it was said and how it was structured, Drake could have used a lot of this shit, and this battle could have went totally different.
But he got to be smart enough to use it because he still could have used it.
No, but that's the point I'm trying to say. He can't use it now.
Why you say that?
Because it's been put out there as AI. Because he already has a bad rep as having a ghostwriter, people writing for him, and now you stealing from AI tracks now?
He got away with push-ups.
Well.
Yeah. That shit was out for a week. It was out for a week. Not like a dog life week. Like a day. That shit was out for a full 7 days. I remember the Saturday it released.
Yeah, I remember the Saturday. Yeah.
And I was like, damn. And it was on the Get Money beat.
Yeah.
And then the next week,
yeah.
it was a completely different beat.
Yeah.
It sounded like it was slightly tuned up. The only difference is it sounded like it had a better mix. And he switched out some words.
Yeah, he did.
That's the only difference. So if that's the case, why didn't he claim the song then? It was something spooky going on with that first version, bro. And then for him to come right behind that with an AI Pac and AI Snoop.
Yeah.
Universal was
testing the waters.
This is on Patreon, so do not clip this part. I have a theory that Universal was trying to usher in the artificial intelligence during this battle.
I said
because
the
it
same
had
thing.
the heightened visibility, and the thing was, will the people buy it? Because it's at a point where people want hip hop more than they've wanted it probably in the last 5 to 10 years. Like just a particular brand of it. Like we want a Drake song more than we've wanted a Drake song probably since Views. We want a Kendrick song more than we've wanted a Kendrick song since Damn. So it's like, let's try this fake shit and see how people take to it.
And see, and this the part to go back. This is one of the reasons why, even though if you separate the business from the hip hop side of it, right? This is one of the things that I can't really respect Drake on in terms of the lawsuit is because if it's really a thing, right? They usher in the AI movement, and Drake, you're a part of this. And the one time throughout this process that you're in on this with UMG, the one thing that it doesn't go in your favor, now you want to burn the house down. I can't respect that because you was in with the bullshit.
I'm in with it because you own me. I own you, nigga.
That's not my fault
What
that
are
they
you
own
talking
you.
about?
Signed the contract.
I
Not
own
you,
you.
but you signed the
What
contract.
you mean?
Drake signed the contract. I cannot.
You better serve my tea and biscuits, boy.
Oh,
I
well.
own you. Pick this cotton.
That's the road that he chose. I can't respect that. I'm sorry. I get what you're saying.
But that's the thing. I ain't mad at you, bro. When I say my piece about this stuff, people are like, man, they come at me so hard because of just my stance on it. I will forever be anti-label because I think independence is important when you're an artist because one, you have freedom over your work, bro. You are able to make the type of music you want to make. It's not, you don't have, some people don't really have the type of mentality to know how to push their music. And I know they go to labels for just, of course, for the package, the stimulus package. But, if Drake was really like an independent artist, do you know how much money this nigga could be making if he was fully independent?
That's his choice. That's his realm. I just want some accountability in rap and hip hop. That's all I want. I just want accountability. I get that they own him, and you in
and
with
they put a lot of money in his face, bro.
Right.
But
we don't know. I said this too.
I just want accountability.
You don't know how this goes until it happens to you.
Right.
I ain't never seen a $400 million check before in my life. Yeah. But if I was a company and said, here you go, DJ, here, $400 million.
Yeah.
So you just gotta sign.
But at the
just
same,
sign right here.
I gotta sign. I gotta take whatever come with that shit. That's all because I signed it.
But if I'm
until
the same,
you find a way to get out of it.
But if I'm the same person who gave you the check and said, here you go, let's see how this goes in the next 5 years, and then I'm just like, the nigga DJ be out here smoking crack. If I sit out here and put these rumors and these things and make sure I push that stuff to the point where when you come back, when I've made my money back with you. If you say, okay, I'm gonna give you this 400 mil, and let's see if you can recoup this within a time of negotiation. Which, and again, I don't have the contract. I'm just going off of what I've read from different articles.
Right.
It said that he recouped that money before 2025.
By recoup, did they give, like, is it, how many X's is it? Like, is it 2X, 3X, or is it just that he recouped just a flat 400?
From what I've read, and again, this might be wrong, but for the 400 mil that he signed for.
Okay, so let's look at it from this perspective. If coming off of the heels of the hottest he's been as an artist, he recouped 400, and being that he cooled down while he was under this record deal, he wants 800.
I think he wants a bill.
So let's say he wants $1 billion.
I think he wants a bill.
Why?
That's tough.
And on whose green earth can we logically assume as a record label, like we are UMG, right? We finna be UMG in this motherfucker, and then we're gonna talk about Diddy and all that other shit, because we are hour and 30 minutes in.
Wow.
We're gonna talk about this shit for a while, but it's so much to talk about because it's so important. But because it's really
It's layers,
because
bro.
I feel what you're saying, Cole. But one way or another, the state of hip hop hangs in the balance from this.
And I understand
And
that.
even if like the Drake thing, like him getting his money is a completely separate issue. And I agree with you on that. But just like you said a little while ago, hip hop gonna get fucked regardless if you win.
They're always the first one.
Because it's like for example, Trump winning wasn't like he didn't win against us being black people. But we finna get railroaded as a result of him winning.
I live in the
I mean,
UK,
not you.
mate.
Not you, because you over there,
I'm
you on the
joking.
you
I'm
across
joking.
the pond and shit.
Yeah, he got a king and queen.
But I said it to say, in the event that Trump 2.0 wins, it's just gonna be a lot that comes with it that isn't necessarily Drake's intention.
Yeah.
However, just like when you sign the dotted line, you need to be able to have foresight. Or no, it's not even foresight at that point. You need to be able to read this and have a full understanding of what's going on. But when you do something like this that has long-term ramifications, you need to be aware of that. And I think Drake may not be aware, but as the honorable brother Kevin Gates say, ignorance of the law is no excuse. So Drake will inevitably, right or wrong, be held accountable for a lot of the stuff that happens in the event that he wins negatively or positive. Because just like a lot of people gonna give him credit, like, bro, he stood up and beat the industry. Woo, woo, woo. If he does that and it ultimately affects the other 99.9% of hip hop for 15 to 20 years, it's probably gonna go 50 years because what chance does it have of being reversed once it gets put in motion because the record label is so powerful.
Right.
So it's one of those things where the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. And I think Drake being so so concerned and attached to himself and his wants and needs, really don't give a fuck. And that's why I think I wouldn't be surprised if he do this shit in dip or like become his own sovereign entity, or hip hop let him back in and just not give a fuck or not realize what he's doing or just not care because they so happy about him winning.
I mean, 6ix9ine was welcome back in.
But that's completely different. Like that's snitching shit. Like that's like that's some street shit that like makes its way into hip hop, but then ultimately that shit still just isolated within the street. Like this is like, cause with that the record label can't disenfranchise artists because he snitched. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If anything, it can make it hurts the culture because now people who have unsavory past, like academics, can be able to have a foothold because now morality isn't primary.
Right. I look at it from this point of view too, and I always use the disclaimer every time I talk about this. I'm not a Drake fan. I mean, I am a Drake fan, but I'm not. I know this is for selfish reasons. That this is not for the greater good.
Yeah.
So I get that all the time, but like, who says after this lawsuit Drake needs hip hop anymore?
And that's
I've already made it. I've made a little dance album over here to call Honestly Living Mine, and I tried to test the waters with that, and it didn't go so well. But I'm not just a rapper, guys.
Okay,
People been wanting an R&B album for me for years. I'm trying to do a P&D. People been wanting these types of pop albums for me for years. Why don't I just go that way? Like, if he gets that bag, he ain't never got to mess with hip hop ever again, and he leaves it worse than he did when he got into it.
what we call that.
Colonizing?
Yes, sir. There you go.
And that's
10 points for Cole.
You made me think about my original question I had for you, right? So if UNG loses and they pay him what he asked for, right? What do you do next if you're not going to, like, are you going to re-sign with UMG? You going completely independent?
He has to go independent.
Yeah, so at that point, he done burned his bridge.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So, like, what do you do after that?
But here's the crazy part, guys. He might not live to even spend that money.
Oh,
and I hate to say that, but
now
I'm getting into some real conspiracy theory stuff that I don't want to bring the crowd down.
Yeah.
But just I wish people would read more into like music history, because a lot of my points come from that. I always use this as an example, and I'm not saying Drake and Prince are the same person, but when Prince had his whole deal with Warner and he tried to get his masters back, he had to change his name because he no longer wanted to they was trying to do him dirty. He changed his name. He was still fighting the fight to be able to get his masters back. By the time he got his masters back, everything was cool. Changed his name. He went independent. He tried to sell music. He was one of the first artists I knew that sold music online, and they stepped on it. They stepped on his music. They quieted him. They pushed it. All of his stuff. They did everything they could to ruin that man's independent career.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, and again, I'm not saying Drake and Prince are the same person, but the fight is very similar when you look at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna have to.
He don't even own his. Drake does not even own his past catalogs that make so much money. So all I'm saying is,
we got to get back to the universal part. You keep going, because I got away from what I was saying, but you keep cooking.
All I'm saying is, one, I really don't think that he's gonna be able to win this, because UMG is too big. They have too many resources. They have too many lawyers. They know how to make the play. They're going to smear his name and make him look like the worst person in the world. If he resigns that deal, it might be a better deal. Or they could settle out of court and give him what little bag he needs to, but he's going to be shunned from hip-hop because, again, the work has been done as far as, like, anything trying to respect Drake when it comes to hip-hop. Hip-hop fans don't deal with him. You could just look at the outcry on social media. They don't mess with this dude, and the hardcore Drake fans are white. And they pay for tickets. We get it. But, or he could go independent. And if he chooses to go the independent route, he's climbing Mount Everest, bro. Because they're going to do every trick in the book that helped him to hurt him. Ask Tory Lanez. When Tory Lanez went independent, you couldn't find that man's stuff. Even before the Meg situation, you could not find Tory Lanez because he got away from his deal with his masters. You could not find him on any streaming page at all. When he dropped new music, you had to type his name in to get to it. Believe me, I know, because I listen to Tory Lanez.
I do too. Yeah, I agree with you. That definitely happened for a minute.
So ain't nobody winning in this, to be honest with you. It's going to be ugly. And I think, again, it's music business with hip hop elements in it. It's basically the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Yeah. look at Diddy and Diageo, and that's a conspiracy, but even still.
But it makes a lot of sense though, don't it?
Yeah. But let me get to, and then we're gonna go into the Diddy stuff. It's a pause if need be.
Thank you for letting me plead my case, man.
No. When you
on my platform, people, if you read my comments about how people maybe there are some points that I made in that video that does not fully expand on what I'm talking about, because I just don't think a lot of people like a lot of legalese or like how I break down stuff. But people just look at it as like, oh, you just like Drake. And I'm like, nigga, I grew up in the Bay Area. What are you talking about?
Yeah, because I watched the video, but when you explained it just then in that moment, it made more sense to me in the sense that if I'm able to just truly separate the hip hop element of it and just the business side of it and what you got to do in court and lawyers and like, it's just people doing their job. They doing what they got to do, regardless if it look dumb as hell. Because if you read some of them pages in that lawsuit, they breaking down them lyrics. That shit look crazy.
But that's the legalese.
I know.
Van
know.
Lathan on his podcast said it seems that lawsuit is very tone deaf because there's a lot of legalese in it.
Yeah.
That's because the lawyer is doing his job.
Yeah.
I gotta win this case. You pay me $5,000 an hour, bro. If I pay you $5,000 an hour, I expect for you to do something.
Yeah. I get it. But I don't like how.
And that first bill gonna be for like 300 hours.
And I just don't like how, in the sense that now when you get to the point of naming the reactors and the streamers into it, granted, I mean, we don't really have a lot of music in our content for the most part. Like a lot of stuff that we do is, I'm not gonna say scripted, but it's stuff that we write down, we formulate, and we talk about it.
Right,
But
for sure.
in the event that we wanted to incorporate music into, you know, say what we do, we can't get paid off the content because they go clamp down probably even harder.
Yeah,
on people like us.
I think if Drake wins, and if he wins like in a sweeping fashion, like just to protect themselves from another situation like that happening, those copyright claims that still allow us to put music up are going to immediately turn into strikes, and you're gonna be on 3-strike channel termination. Like the entire music reactor community could possibly die if Drake wins.
So what? Let me say this too, because this is another thing that pisses me off. So these streamers need to start asking for pay when they break these songs on their streams. If people are so worried about what's gonna happen with this Drake thing, then stop. And I'm not talking about you guys, but I'm just saying there's a lot of streamers on here who happen to just get the newest song that's gonna drop from somebody somewhere, whatever the case may be.
No Life Shack. It's okay. We've already crossed that road.
But
that's just gonna prove his point of payola even more though.
All I'm saying is, like, we're gonna get to a point, and I'm not saying that Drake needs to win, but if UNG wins, we're probably gonna get to a point too where we might have streamers doing 360 deals too. Yeah. Like, it's gonna get to this is a horrible case because it's a lot of things that's gonna happen if either side wins that's not gonna be favorable for anybody. But like, if you think that these streamers, like, I see all this stuff that these streamers are saying, but y'all are next. Y'all are the platform. I just watched Black Boy Max do a song, make a song up with Central C on his stream. They coming for y'all. The streamers are next, bro.
Because they own rights to that song because Central C was on it.
They coming
that
for
paperwork
y'all.
Coming in the mail. You finna get a
and these streamers are going to sell their souls because they don't know no better.
They're dumb. Not dumb. I think No Life Shack and Screwface, I think they may be the most aware streamers, and probably Castanet, just because I think he has a great legal team.
Yeah.
So I think, granted, how he acted on the stream, I don't think he knows, but I think he has access to a team that's gonna be like, all right, this is what's really happening.
Right.
Yeah.
So whatever you got to do
to save face and make it look,
you can do that, but just know behind the scenes,
we working on this shit.
Some real shit is actually happening. So the question that I wanted to ask, that I got off of my point and went around the world.
It's all good.
We're UMG now. Off of views, Drake off views and views, More Life, Scorpion.
Yeah, that's the order.
After that 3-album run, he comes in to renegotiate. We work out a deal for $400 million. But in that deal, we're like, okay, we're gonna introduce you to all of these people because that helps you get the money that we can use to recoup. Right? So if the partnerships that we put in front of you helped you get this 400, what makes you think that with that you're gonna be able to flip that into 800 and your and the brand of Drake isn't growing?
What makes you think that? You built me in, you built my ego into thinking that way.
But now
you created the monster that's turned on you.
But now we're having a conversation of actually how you feel versus tangible value. Like, I was having a conversation with DJ, and we're not gonna pot about potting. Yeah. But we had a conversation, and he said, how can I say this without saying this? Nah, fuck it. I'll go ahead and say it.
Yeah, go ahead.
He said, we had Absa and Chilling with Moni on stream. And DJ and one of the people sent in a super chat and they was like, make sure that they will. The first time it was like, make sure Absa gets paid.
Yeah.
It was like, of course, but we hadn't structured anything. So, DJ was like, we'll just make sure they get paid like fairly.
Right.
Which is the thing. How do you dictate fair?
Mm-hmm.
You don't. It's no such thing as fair.
So
Lucian was
hold on,
like,
wait. So in order to do that, at least to get as close to value as you can, you have to bring numbers involved. You have to quantify the situation.
Mm-hmm.
For that particular situation, she was on the entire stream. We just busted down 3 ways.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the next time we had Moni and Absa come on, they were on for 46% of the stream.
Mm-hmm.
So we break it down based on the 46%.
Right.
So with this Drake UMG thing, you've already been enriched with Steak and Nike Nocta and all of this other stuff.
I think I know where you're going. Mm-hmm.
How are we going to build you to the $800 million person that we can pay you $800 million to a billion when we're going to be able to recruit when your music isn't doing as successful, when Nocta isn't doing what it's supposed to do? Steak probably is the most successful thing you got going, and we already own your back catalog. Why would I give you $1 billion, Drake?
Hey, that makes a lot of sense.
Your shit is not hot, man, and niggas not buying.
But
it's
what
not
if this
rocket
is?
Science.
I'm gonna go. Let me just do this, and I know I'm reaching. I always reach for the stars. But what if that's a play for him to just try to get independent too? Which is again not gonna fare well for him.
Yeah.
But I always look at it as like, even though he has a beef with Kanye,
He respect Kanye.
he see what Kanye doing independently.
And I feel like
And
that,
it's like-
that's probably he'll probably end up making the money he's making now if he goes independent without so many hands in the pot. Now, let's say they gave him 400 over the span of 5 years, 4 albums, something like that. So let's just say that 4 years, 4 albums, $400 million. So that means one way or another, you're grossing $100 million per album, including including the tour, merch, and all this other company stuff. After you pay everybody and pay your taxes, you walk home. Well, you net 100. So you net 100 4 times. So he goes independent. He nets 100 still. That's best case scenario. But I feel like also that's probably what will happen. But I think Drake feels like he should be netting what he's grossing.
right.
And that's not him thinking logical, because look at all of the people that they put in your pocket. They're putting money in your pocket, but they're also taking money. Okay, so they put a rack. They show you a rack. Next thing you know, you feel money going in your pocket. It's not the full rack, bro.
Right.
It might be 35 cents on the dollar when you actually start counting, because now Universal got to get their cut. Now whoever got to get their, like, bro, like if you were able to keep dollar for dollar everything that you were getting, that billion would be more feasible. But it's not, because there is no upward trajectory for Drake. And that's why the beef is so important in my perspective.
Yeah.
I feel like the Drake-Kendrick Lamar beef in Drake's mind was a way for him to show and prove an increased level of value to Universal. That's the only reason I see him being willing to step into this and not 100% be prepared.
Right.
It's the only way. And that,
Oh, you mean like just the beef itself, or like the business side?
if I beat Kendrick Lamar,
Yeah.
I'm coming to sit at this table, I'm unzipping my pants, and I'm putting my nuts on the table, and y'all gotta talk to me
Nice.
differently. Not even nice. You gotta talk to me different, nigga. I don't care if it's nice, I don't care if it's joyous, but that 400 is not gonna work for me, because it wasn't gonna work already. I kinda wanted 600. Now I want 800, because really, honestly and truly, if I beat Kendrick, That's finna turn a whole new surge into my career. Look what GNX just did. Kendrick finna perform at the Super Bowl. He probably finna sweep the Grammys. He finna go on a stadium tour with SZA. And we think he got another album in the tuck.
Yep.
I know he got another album in the tuck.
I just want to give him grace.
Oh.
We think this nigga got another album in the tuck because he got a snippet that he's sitting on.
Yep.
And the last time he sat on the snippet, it turned into GNX. And I feel like the album he was working on post Mr. Morale is more akin to that snippet.
Yep. I know it is. I know
because
it
Watch
is.
the Party Die is that snippet. Meet the Grams is that snippet. Man at the Garden is that snippet.
And that's
Reincarnated. It's all of those songs are built off the back of that snippet.
And
that type of musical genius is that snippet. So if that's the case, and he drop it after the tour,
that's gonna be a dark
and
album.
that turns into him going on tour again.
Yep.
That's why I feel like this is going to extend in the
He flipping birds now.
Exactly.
He flipping birds.
And
out
that's
here
why
now.
I feel like GNX was like, hey, I can brew something up real quick because at this point, I'm on autopilot because it's not the same undertaking as a Damn would be, or as a Mr. Morale, or as a Temple of Butterfly. I'm not finna have to sit in the studio with 6 months with Bilal, Thundercat, Anna Wise, fucking Mixed by Ali, all of these people. I can really go get Soundwave. Bro, this was a...
Soundwave was on every song.
In its conception, it was built like a mixtape. It may be an album, but it was built like a mixtape.
Yeah.
So with that, we get in there, 10 days, 15 days, 20 days, writing camp, knock it out. Boom, we got material to put out in the hottest moment of the career. And then after that, we give them back what we know we can do. Because just think about it, this is the most focused as far as the most singular production he's had on any project he's ever put out. Except, listen up, Section 80, which is considered by most people what? A mixtape.
I don't consider. I consider that his first album.
He even said, I was listening to Pimp Butterfly today. He referred to Good Kid as his first album. So I don't know if he thinks that. So with that being said, the way that it was built is identical in a lot of aspects to Section 80, which was marketed and pushed as a mixtape, kind of sort of like Dolce we was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
It's an album tape mix thing.
Album tape mix.
It's an album mixtape hybrid. It's an album for the sake of this is a crowning achievement of us, what we could do as an independent imprint, but it's a mixtape in reference to I want my first studio album to be from a major label.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, look at Drake like, damn, that could have been me. And with me being who I am, I might drop an album post-battle win, whether it be The Party or me doing my own thing. That album goes platinum in a week. I go on tour for 250 days again. I gross $350 million on tour. I've already recouped the 400 that I would have did with the first one on one album. The billion is looking more it's making more sense now. You feel what I'm saying? So I think he was risking all of that because he was what they call it, what the old people call it. I was eating with my eyes. He was
your eyes are bigger than your stomach.
He was looking at that, and that makes sense if we go into push-ups. What was he talking about with Kendrick? Splits, contracts. His mind was on the contract at the beginning of this.
Yeah.
And that's why now he's suing Universal because he knows that that's the only way he can get the money he was hoping he would get if he beat Kendrick.
But also accountability, bro. You gotta be. It just don't seem like he was prepared.
What rich nigga you know is accountable?
But I'm just saying, like in terms of if that's what your goal was,
Magic Johnson. He might be the only rich nigga that's accountable. Him and Buddy that own the Clippers.
Listen,
the dude.
If that's my end goal, right? If that's my sights, is I'm gonna have all my shit lined up and ready to fuck this nigga up.
I've been at the top of the mountain for a very long time. People hadn't been throwing rocks at the throne like that. Cuz.
And also, I don't know that what I'm doing ain't hitting like it used to because y'all buying it.
Right. People blindly.
Okay.
I remember, was it me and you who talked about For All the Dogs? Who we did? I think we.
Probably.
we was sitting there like, this ain't hitting like.
Yeah, we end up making 3 different versions of it once the Scary Hours came out. My shit was 15 songs. Like, if I got to take 29 songs and condense it to 15, the album ain't hitting like that.
It's once you've been at the top for a very long time, it's kind of hard. Like, some people are willing to get down off the throne and get their hands dirty. Mm-hmm. Like Jay, when that whole stuff with Nas, that was Jay coming off his throne, and I'm gonna get dirty. Let me get dirty real quick. Ugly. And Drake hasn't had anybody for real go at him. He been on top. I'm winning, baby. I'm winning out here in these streets. Yeah, and then this dude was like, I wonder what happened if I just slap this nigga in the face real hard.
Let's see what he do.
I got something for you.
Kendrick pulled out an AK-47.
I got something for you.
But if he's as calculated as he thinks he is.
I don't think he's calculated. I think he's well insulated, and I think he's well insulated, spoiled, and entitled. I don't think he's calculated.
Because I'm like, I'm gonna have my songs ready, but if I don't have them ready, I'm writing some shit. I'm going at this nigga neck, and I don't care what it takes. And he didn't do that to me, bro.
You look at the way your something splits and your pants might rip. Yeah. That's what he thought. He thought he was doing it.
Man, that
something
shit
for the Swifties.
That shit garbage.
But you got to think about it. This is coming from the mind of the person who won a battle with back to back.
And you got to think too, bro. Like, he had been manipulating and using the internet to for him to win
all the way
for
back
a very long time.
Yeah.
And he thought the internet was gonna help him, and they kind of did. Like, man, Kendrick don't have no slaps and all this.
Yeah, he ain't responded. He ain't responded in this time frame because before Euphoria dropped, they were trying to cancel this battle before he even got off the ground for real.
Facts.
So yeah, you right. Yeah, he thought the internet was gonna help him.
It was
like
working.
The internet did with back to back.
It was working until he realized how powerful Kendrick is in the culture.
Yeah.
Like, the culture was actually standing behind, like, commerce was standing behind Drake. And a lot of people won't speak on Drake in the way that they honestly feel because of the commerce aspect. But, like, the culture was standing behind Kendrick and still is.
Yeah. And you know what? And I'm not saying he was using this as like a play, but what better way to win the battle than just say, I'm really speaking for the whole culture when I'm telling you this stuff, because we're kind of tired of it. We're kind of tired of hearing the same old. I don't like Drake when he's tough. I like Drake with the melodies, bro. Like, we don't need this mob tie stuff, bro.
Yes.
Like, you're not who you say you are. We know this. You've been exposed. It was just great to hear Kendrick say, I'm with y'all. I'm gonna speak for y'all.
Yeah. The thing about that is, the culture gotta actually be fucking with you to stand up and say, I'm a flag bearer for the culture. Because if I think if the shoe was on the other foot, I think that goes bad for Drake.
Horrible.
Like, if he says, I'm with the culture feeling, I think that goes, well, we already know now, being that how the culture responded, I think it goes badly. So it's like, that was a risky line for Kendrick. Yeah. Like, 'cause at that point, you're putting all of your eggs in that basket.
But guess what? That was a move that nobody else rapping was using, or wasn't Whitley speaking on for real.
Imagine if J. Cole said he was with the culture feeling.
You
think that stands up? No, that's not a rhetorical question. You think it stands up?
No comment. No comment.
As big as Tyler Creator is right now, you think he's what the culture's feeling?
No.
Like,
even though I love
assertion.
Tyler,
that's a huge assertion. Who else?
Even though I love Tyler.
Travis Scott, you think he with the culture feeling?
No.
We already know Drake not. Who else?
The only person I feel is on that wall that right now they could have said it and maybe possibly could have squeaked it out is Kanye. Only person.
No, bro.
I don't even think he could. I don't think Jay-Z could.
He couldn't have pulled that off.
I don't think
Jay too far removed to say
it's only a few type of people who could do it. I think prime Nas could have done it. Like, before he said hip hop is dead, maybe Stillmatic Nas.
Shoot, I think King Disease Nas could have said it. Or not King Disease, Magic Nas could have said it.
Yes. But you actually have to be a representative. Mm-hmm. Because at that point, you're leveraging them. Like, you are giving them the opportunity to say, no, you're not. No, you're not. Because at that point, everything you've done up until that point comes into question. Like Outkast, like Andre 3000, 2005 could have been like, I'm with the culture feeling.
And then
it would have made sense.
And it would have made so much sense.
Like,
yeah, it would definitely make sense.
Biggie couldn't have done it. Tupac could have done it.
Yeah.
Lauryn Hill could have done it post education. She probably the closest person to Kendrick that could have done it.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily your level of talent, it's what you stand on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Eminem could not have done it.
No.
Most Def, post Black on Both Sides, he could have tried it. We don't know how that turns out.
I don't think.
Yeah, that could have gone two different ways.
NWA couldn't have done it.
No.
Well, that's a regional thing.
Yeah.
Like
For the
if
West
they-
Coast,
yeah.
it
For the, if
makes
they would have said that for the West Coast, the West would have been like, yeah, because y'all talking about what's really going on.
Yeah.
So that's where we start giving them a little bit more regional. We start saying NWA and stuff like that.
Ross couldn't have done it.
Hell no.
Like, he's luxury rap. You can't be luxury
And
and
that's
be
why I
about
say
the
Jay-Z
culture.
couldn't have done it. He got to a point where he was no longer relatable. So post Magna
Shit, Drake
Carta,
too. Shit.
so post Magna Carta,
I didn't have a
Jay couldn't have done it.
4.6. What you mean?
Cocksucker
No,
beat it.
yeah, I ain't no longer relatable. I ain't had no 4.6, bro.
Okay. We had 2 hours. We gave them all we could give them. So we going to go through these really quick. We going to speed round these.
Okay.
Diddy going to jail. Big moment. How
Oh,
you
he
feel
did
about it?
that.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
he did that. It was a long time coming, bro.
Freak Monster Supreme.
All it took was somebody really close to the camp to really just shine a little small light on it. Cassie jumping out of the gate with just the smallest of infractions.
I mean, that video don't.
Yeah, the
but
video
that came
did.
out after though.
I know, but that video was.
I'm talking about like when at the time of her saying, she was requesting the money for him and they paid it off real quick. That's all we needed.
I think it still would have went. If the feds don't get involved, I think it goes back to politics as usual. Because I think he could have postured that as it was too much on the line business wise for him to go back and forth. So he settled out of court just to make it go away.
Does he beat the case?
No.
Not even. They didn't have their eyes on him for too long.
And then
They just been building a case on him.
And then at the end of the day, even if he doesn't go to jail for the freaky stuff, he still got a guns and drugs charge. He was arrested with 2 on him. So he's going to jail for something.
Yeah.
Unless they hit him with time served. That's the only way you get out.
Well, he's snitching, so
Yeah.
he telling them.
I do think he's snitching.
He about to tell on everybody.
I do.
Everybody.
The thing about that is that lawyer get in and the lawyer like, hey, such and such contacted me. The cameras are off for 30 seconds. They said, if you say anything, you're going to wake up in Epstein Island and take that for how you may.
Because it's still there.
Nah, I mean,
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just not trying to get too deep into that.
okay. Young Thug's long awaited release from prison. He did that shit.
Hell yeah.
He got out.
But the album's gonna be fire.
Facts.
Like Thug about to drop one of them ones.
I just hope he wasn't a part of that event that actually led to somebody no longer being here.
Yeah, I hope he
And
didn't.
if that's the case and he's walking in the street,
But that probation.
who am I to judge? God to get him.
Yeah, that probation is so limited. Even though they kind of went a little bit lenient on him going back, being able to visit Atlanta and stuff, he need to get away from Atlanta.
If he's short, he going to prison.
Yeah,
And he'll never short again.
like he need to do what Youngboy did, go to Grave Digger Mountain.
All right, we back. We do not know what happened. Well, we know what happened. We just don't know where we were. What were we talking about?
I got one more. I got a big question. Is
Okay.
Gunna appear on the Thug album?
Yes. I think so.
I do not think so.
I
I caught a nigga a rat again. I
I
don't
think Gunna
and-
ain't messing with it.
and
I'm not saying. I think Thug is gonna be like, just make your albums. You good? You're
Yeah.
not getting on this.
especially with the stance that Lil Baby's taking and with him being on Lil Baby album, I think they have already, as a collective, decided not to fuck with Gunna.
But that's
the
cool.
thing about Gunna is still contractually obligated to Thug's label, but I think that's Young Thug's last album title. Business is business. It's strictly
Okay.
financial.
Yeah. With the little baby stuff. Okay. All right. Yeah, we good.
Lil Durk arrested for alleged murder for hire, and I think he just got hit with another
Yep,
case
He did.
too. So
He did that shit. too.
Dirt is done.
yeah, man. Rapping about the shit that you doing is stupid, but doing it is stupider. And if that's the case, if you doing the shit that they say you doing, It's gonna be pretty easy because y'all niggas self-snitch, and if that's the case and you gotta go to jail, man, you gotta go to jail.
And it's crazy because Dirk was actually trying to be a little bit more mainstream. He was trying to switch it over. That All My Life song was supposed to kind of help him cross over.
Yeah, but if you listen to the rest of that album,
oh yeah, I know.
He on the same bullshit as he was the other albums. It was just that one song, that one isolated song.
Like a disclaimer, like, nah, bro, you still
you still doing the fuck shit. So it's just like, it is what it is.
All My Life, they were trying to.
Gotta be smarter than that.
The loss of various hip hop artists. So, you know, I want to say rest in peace to Rich Homie Quan.
Yeah, that hit hard.
Yeah, man, that was tough. That was tough.
Rich Homie Quan was definitely on the soundtrack of my life growing up as a
rest in peace to Enchanting. She passed as a she passed by way of overdose, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, the Gucci Mane artist. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fulio passed away in the shooting. Rest in peace to him. Also, rest in peace to Rico Wade. Ka from Brownsville, DJ Mr. C, Fat Man Scoop, DJ Clark Kent, etc.
Fat Man Scoop did die.
Yeah, so rest in peace to all of those individuals that were listed.
That Rich Homie Quan was really bad.
Because it was super unexpected.
Yeah, and the way he passed was.
Yeah,
and I didn't realize he was the exact same age as me, bro. Yeah. Didn't know that, bro. I thought he was younger than me. I don't know why, but. Yeah, that's it. Just kind of hit a little close to home, bro. So,
Killer Mike gets arrested after Grammy sweep.
What did he get arrested for again exactly? Because I don't remember.
I think
he was booked for misdemeanor battery after an alleged altercation with a security guard who refused to let him in the venue. So it's like the lack of inclusion led to him asserting himself, then getting arrested. It's like,
why now?
They didn't even let that man. They didn't even televise the speech.
Yep. He won 3 separate awards, and none of them were televised. And they've done that before.
Yeah.
They've done that before.
Yeah, I wish these hip hop artists would really figure out if we messing with the Grammys or not, because there's years where it's like we ain't messing with the Grammys, and then it's like we need to mess with the Grammys. It's
I mean, from the business aspect and that, the Grammy nominated artist or Grammy winner, it does so much for your portfolio. Like, you can't necessarily deny it. But if y'all really standing on not fucking with the Grammys, everybody got to do it. Mm-hmm. Period. Yeah. And if everybody on that same page, it'll never go away. Yeah. Like that, there's still the weight that the Grammys hold will always be there.
I mean, the bag goes up once you win one.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
And the thing about it is, hip hop ain't big enough to stop the show of the Grammys.
Right.
So, I think the biggest part of it is. It's at the end of the day, it's working its way to a real life application with the shit we was talking about with Trump. Like, if they're gonna push us out of everything, we gotta find ways to build our own shit and insulate ourselves and take care of ourselves like the other minority communities do. Mm-hmm. So if we're talking about hip hop as a minority community, if they're gonna make it disadvantageous for us to coexist, we have to stand outside and exist for ourselves. So that means we have to go out of our way to reacquire BET. Mm-hmm. And rebuild the BET Awards and the Hip Hop Awards and all of that stuff, and make our stuff important and find a way to exist independent of the major entertainment industry. And I can see where that can be tough, because it's not like, where do you go if you can't get access to Kim? It's like, so now we need another Arsenio Hall, and we need all of this stuff. So now we got to get back and support people like what's buddy name that sued Comcast.
Byron
Allen. We got to support people like that so we can find our way into structure, so we can build our own infrastructure and have space to operate independent of the major system. But at the end of the day, he was fighting the major system. So it's a never ending thing. Like, it'll always be a battle against the system because the system has the access. So that's when you reach the dilemma of the spook sat by the door. I personally believe it's a fallacy because I have not seen one spook, especially in entertainment, get in, make good, come out, and build. Like, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Like, Jay-Z may be the closest thing, and a lot of the actions that we see them as questionable, so it's just hard to say.
Especially this recent one.
I wanted to talk about that, but we are short on time. Kids are tripping. So
yeah,
we probably gonna have to pull up and do the other episode tomorrow. We were supposed to do both of them tonight, but yeah, so it's just not gonna work. Dr. Dre, shout out to Dr. Dre. He got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
trash.
Okay, all right.
I mean, you have to pay for those.
Okay, I did know that, but what took him so long to get it? Do you have to get approved?
Yeah, but you still have to pay for it.
It's like real estate, huh?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it's dope, but I also think it's trash because you have to pay for it.
yeah.
They're not giving you anything. You go through a committee that says, "Oh, we'll give it to Dr. Dre. Here, give us $50,000 and we'll put it next to
That's an expensive block.
Oprah Winfrey. You're good." It's just
It don't mean shit.
the star on the Walk of Fame is not as wonderful as people used to make it. Like I would much rather Dre just put out more music or produce more stuff. Like if anybody listened to the stuff that he put, like Missionary was actually a good album, and the album he put out with
Marsha Ambrosius.
Yeah, Marsha Ambrosius was really, which nobody talked about last year, but I just
That's a part of having the label behind you. That's a part of having the label behind you. And we've talked about this album already, but Kendrick dropped GNX, which comes with the stadium tour featuring SZA. Songs will be performed at the Super Bowl. He's going to have as big of a 2025, if not a bigger 25 than he had a 2024, especially if he drops another album next year and continues to do what he's doing, putting the West on and being a spokesperson for the physical embodiment of the culture of hip-hop. Because the Drake shit is only going to make Kendrick look better and only going to give him more power within the culture. Even if he's not like, I'm John Henry going against the machine. Like, all I got to do is exist and do what I've been doing. And by proxy of Drake losing power, Kendrick will receive power because it's going to be an inevitable power vacuum. Kendrick already turned it on, but he's just going to continue to pick up all the shit that Drake leaves behind, and Kendrick going to purify it and turn it into himself and just make himself bigger.
real quick before I know we're going to the next topic. Real quick.
Nigga, that's all the topics.
Not your favorite song. First song you go to when you turn GNX on.
For my kids, TV off. They like that song. So since we started shameless plug, since we started Road to 100, I have to kind of temper the stuff that I want to listen to because I got to listen to these albums to get us through that. But if I turn it on by myself, I just press play. I just started at the beginning. Depending on where I'm going and what kind of energy I'm getting, I might skip Luther. Even though that's an amazing song. Like, let's say I'm going to the gym in the morning. I'm going whacked out, squabble up, TV off, and by that time I'm at the gym.
Yeah, I mean, when I do go to the album, I just prefer just to press play. But if I just had to pick a song, if I want to hear a song called GNX, I'm playing the Hard Part 6. That's literally the first song that I would say, because I love the message of the song, I love the beat and production. I just love everything about the song.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's growing into becoming just my favorite song off the album outside of Reincarnated. Because Reincarnated, just for the artistic standpoint of it and the breakdown that we did on it, I love that song, bro. But as far as just like, if I just had to pick a song, yeah, it's Hard Part 6. That's the one I go to. So.
Okay. I always go to Hey Now first because it's basically it's a Bay Area hyphy song.
Yeah. I like Hey
That's
Now.
exactly what it is. It's like I can hear Keek the Sneak. I can hear 40 doing that same song.
Okay. I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think we covered all of the major events. The only thing we didn't cover is the Jay-Z thing, and that's connected with the Diddy shit. So let that play out in court. Let the lawyers lawyer and the computers compute. And all that other good shit. But thank y'all for tuning into a Patreon exclusive episode of Deciphered. I am Skip.
And I'm DJ.
And much thanks to our brother Cole for flying in all the way from London. Not to see us, but while he was here, we got to link up with him and create this episode for y'all. So until next time, man, we out of here. Peace.